Live on a Monday night from Planet Milwaukee. It's your boy, Kevin Barnes, the host of Outlaw Radio. Some people call me the mayor of Chocolate City, the mouthpiece of the movement. Some people call me the Negro Whisperer. You can call me whatever you want. Just spell it right is all I ask. Welcome to the show on a Monday night. I'm sure everybody will jump in as we move along, but I'm very happy to be here tonight, man. There's a lot to talk about, as there usually is in Black America nowadays, as they say. We have a very active chat room. I hope you are in the chat room. I hope you have access to a phone so you can call in. The number we usually utilize to do such a thing is 262-202-5131. That's the number for Outlaw Radio. But share the show, share the show, share the show. I am no longer alone, apparently, allegedly. I got one of the homies with me. What's going on with you, Real? What's popping?
Chilling, man. How you doing today?
Man, I'm very good, man. I'm blessed to be here, man. I'm highly favored, right? As they say. Snowing outside, double bubble snow. If you live in the Midwest, it is what it is. I don't see why you would come apart at the seams at the slightest sight of precipitation. Something we deal with year round, right? Like, nature is nature. It takes its course. It's one of the most beautiful things is seeing nature transition from the cold, dead earth to the blossoming of spring, right? That's what it's about. I see I got Ewok in the chat room. I see I got Dion Anderson. Ewok said the great is here. Dion said, what we talking about tonight? That's a good question. We're going to talk about everything tonight. On the real. It's Outlaw Radio, man. Everything goes. And we rocking on a Monday night. So if you got some shit you want to talk about, it ain't nothing to it but to do it. Put it in the chat room and all of that, man. Dion say, don't say that. I'm in Oshkosh picking up a load. Man, Dion, you making it do what it do. You getting that paper, right?
Right.
It's your motto. If you listen to that Mount Westmore, he say, it's my motto. You know what we do, man. But welcome to the show, man. I see you, Paris LaShawn, all the way from Denver. He said, Shay and Kruma. Shout out to Shabaka Sankour. I just haven't had a chance to get on, man. Shout out to all of y'all, man. Share the show. Tell the people to come on in, man. In my brother Jay voice, gather around the fire for the scroll that I deliver. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff tonight. Shout out to you if you shared the show, if you're watching the show, if you're rocking with the Outlaws. Shout out to you most definitely. You the MVP. I'm just a mere mortal with a microphone. But, man, it was a crazy weekend, man. I was forced, when you get to my age, sometimes your body say, slow down, nigga. Right? Like, I was forced to take a break over the weekend, right? You're doing too much, old nigga. Sit your old ass down. I was forced to, my baby girl was here from school, so it was cool. You know what I mean? But it's good, man. I'm glad my internal sensors can tell me, AKF, chill, man. So it was a cool weekend, all in all, because when you do take that moment to sit back, you do get to reflect and start thinking about, okay, where we going from here? That's what's up. Where we going? We talk about all this shit on Outlaw Radio. We talk about all this shit all the time. What are we going to do about any of it? Or are we just gonna keep talking about it? That's what you get to. So how was your weekend, my brother? How was your weekend?
It was dope, man. Just, getting ready for the coming spring. So, just getting stuff organized around the crib before we call the hall, man. And I've just been stepping up our nutrition because I knew daylight savings time was coming. And, there's because we lose an hour of sleep in the springtime or as that time approaches, they say heart attacks go up by 24% the Monday after daylight saving time because that hour is such a shock to our system. I just wanted to, get prepared for it. So I stepped up my nutrition, started making sure I was eating better. Then also trying to make sure I drink at least a cup of water before bed. Just things that help, reduce risks and shit like that, especially around this time. because you see a lot of people getting sick and they don't know why. They just think it's a change of weather. But really, that daylight saving time knock our circadian rhythm off, and any kind of stress that our body undergoes, we eventually do feel it.
Okay. Okay. Um, man, thank you for that. A lot of people don't know that. You said circadian rhythm. I don't even think they know what that means, right? So we, one step at a time,
For
as we
sure, for
normally
sure.
do on Outlaw Radio. But that's what you do. You feel me? That's what you bring to the table, right? So if you don't know, man, hit Rail up. We got to create a situation where people can communicate with Rail, you know what I mean, directly and get put up on some different kind of chakras. As we talk about, shout out to my sister Ocean Shira Die. How you doing, my sister? He
Peace,
walks that
peace.
Hawaii and Arizona never changes the time. It never changes. He said they don't
What?
have it. They don't deal with it. Neither
Oh, that's
Arizona
dope.
nor Hawaii. Okay, yeah.
That's
I
dope.
didn't. You know what, Rail? Now that you said that, maybe that's the reason why my body reacted the way it did because of that. You
Mm.
feel me? Like
Yeah,
something that I
yeah,
wasn't
most
even
definitely.
aware of. Maybe that's why my body said, "Well, hold on, look, and it was prepared." You feel me? Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
No, fam.
Crazy.
We're not taught the basic science of how to live right. Like we taught reading, writing, arithmetic, but we not taught how to breathe properly, eat properly, think properly, or move properly. So we're not taught the science of better living.
Right.
So
The right way.
so we all get impacted, but right. So
The right
we
way.
just
The
like
right way.
plants, fam. Just like
Yeah.
plants need they
Hey, but you know
certain
what?
period of darkness. Yeah,
I
yeah,
heard some cold shit, and I hate to cut you off because I
oh,
like
for
when you
sure.
drop bombs. But check this out. Shout out to the juice lady. She said, "Hey, Outlaws, what up, Courtney?"
Peace, peace.
Listen, I seen a very interesting meme the other day. It said people have things twisted. Human beings have their understanding twisted because we feel like we are the dominating force on this planet. But if you think about it, plants actually farm humans because they feed you oxygen until you live and die, and then you decompose and you become their food. I said, wow, I never thought about that.
Yeah, yeah.
So this
You know
whole
that.
time, the plants is sitting there looking at us like, yeah, breathe in,
Yeah,
motherfucker, breathe in, get
right,
all that good
right.
oxygen, right? You feel me? You see where we going tonight? That's the kind of energy
Oh
that's on
shit.
our radio tonight. That's what's up. That's what's up. That's how we gonna
But
start it. So while y'all walk around
that's
talking
how
to
they
your
do.
plants, you talking to your plants, the plants looking at you like, yeah, breathe in, motherfucker.
Hey now,
You gonna
hey,
make
it's
some
just
good plant food, right?
yeah. But that's just man. That's why, like I tell people, the closest I ever felt to God was in my garden, just understanding how everything is interwoven. Just like you said, while we living, we eat plants. When we pass away, well, shit. While we alive, just the way things were really designed. While we eat the plants, we was gonna shit, and our shit feed the plants before until we die and eventually feed the plants.
Then the plants
But
eat your ass.
right, the plants are. It's just the beautiful orchestrated cycle of energy. That energy isn't created; it's changed.
Yeah.
So when we die, we get bust down into phosphorus, nitrogen, potassium, all the shit our plants need
We
to
on this
feed
shit
our
early.
kids.
We're on this shit early. Kamar, what's good, man? I know you're like, what the fuck I walk into? It's Outlaw
No,
Radio,
I
man.
get it. I already know what y'all on. I hear real. I know exactly what y'all on. I get it.
Yeah, yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
I'm in tune. I'm in tune. I get it, man.
That's
You
what's
know what I
up.
mean?
For sure,
Everything
for
is
sure,
I be
for
talking,
sure.
Kev, you done heard me talk about the minerals. You know what I mean? When I talk about the minerals in the tree, we be made out of the same shit. You know what I mean? It's just we
For
made out of
sure.
the same minerals. The tree, and the thing is the tree do everything it's supposed to do for nature. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So it get everything it's supposed to get and then some.
Including
Why
your
ain't we
ass
the
when
same?
you die.
We the same, man. I'm just but you did we the same. You know what I mean? Just
Right.
like just like we made out of the same minerals of the earth. You know what I
Right.
mean? But we
That's what
can't
we
but we
said. Yeah.
can't we can't exactly just eat the earth. You know what I mean?
Right,
The plants
right.
feed off the earth and transfer it into energy that we can
into
take
oxygen. They take your
Yeah.
carbon. Come on, Juice Lady in the building. What's going on, Courtney?
Y'all.
Happy birthday, right? Happy
Peace,
birthday.
peace.
I had
Happy
such a good
birthday.
morning, y'all. It was so good. It was so peaceful. The first night I got to Chicago, I took a bath. I smoked some weed, and I went to sleep at like 8:30. Oh, I was asleep at 8:30. It was good. I was supposed to go kick it, but both nights I was
Hey,
sleeping.
shit.
Kicking it was sleep.
I knew that was coming when you said a bath and bud. I said, oh
Yeah.
yeah, that was a short night. That was a
Look, the
short
whole
ass night.
both nights, niggas took baths and smoked and went to sleep. Yes.
And you sure it wasn't
Did
no
you use
Taylor Port involved? No Taylor Port.
I had a little wine in the morning. Nigga made a little mimosa, but
Did you get one of them THC bath bombs from the dispensary? Did you put that in the bath?
I did have a bath bomb, and I know THC one. See, I ain't know about that.
Yeah, they got them CBD and THC bath bombs.
What's going on, y'all? Outlaw Radio. I see the chat room. Ernest said, "Hell of a design, right? Some divine had to create it all." We got two
Most definitely
early. See, I had planned on starting this show off being on some bullshit. Then I was gonna move into some real shit.
For sure.
But it didn't work like that. Right? It didn't work like that. It didn't work like that. Tell Kamar the plants he eats thinks his meat is delicious. This is what we just said. Listen. This all started by me saying I seen a meme that said our understanding as humans is fucked up because we think we are the dominating force on the earth, right? But if you think about it, plants actually give you oxygen. So the whole time they farming your ass, because when you die, you decompose and you become plant food. So the whole time we cattle. Plants just looking at us laughing like this. Yeah.
I think really a better way to look at it is we just a piece to the puzzle.
Yeah.
Either
You know
way
what I'm
it
saying?
go.
Really, we're a piece to the puzzle. Because without one, we all die.
Yeah, man. Sometimes you the bug, sometimes you the windshield, sometimes you smash, sometimes you get smashed.
Right.
But it's Monday night, man. Shout out to y'all. Share the show. Stop giving sorry ass platforms more shine than you give Outlaw Radio. Gloves are off. The definition of outlaw is what it is. I understand why I don't have any friends, but don't let that be a reason for you not sharing the show, right? You know, I'm a solitary kind of cat. I don't fuck with people by and large, but I fuck with certain people. The people you see on the screen, the people who you see in the chat room, the people who bang the line, 262-202-5131. But I will tell you this, some of y'all don't deserve me fucking with you. I'm gonna tell you, like, I feel that this is the kind of love I have for myself. Some people don't deserve my presence, right? You be on some bullshit. You stay on some bullshit. You're an egomaniacal motherfucker who wants to use and exploit people and don't have any integrity. You don't deserve my presence. You a liar, a thief, an underhanded, backstabbing son of a bitch. You don't deserve my presence. And I reserve the right to give it to anybody that does not deserve it. So if I don't fuck with you, it's your fault, not mine. There's nothing wrong with me. It's something wrong with you. With that said, it's Monday night, man. I'm feeling good. 262-202-5131. Outlaws. If you listen to the show, you're an outlaw. If you like the fundamental truths, what Big Rube say about Outcast, if you feel the fundamental truths within these messages, you're an outcast. Y'all know nothing about Southern Playalistic, man. He said, are you an outcast? Anybody remember that shit? Or am I just
Yeah. I mean, man, shit.
Yeah. Big Rube, shout to Big Rube.
About no Southern Playalistic. No.
Yeah, I was an ATLian for a minute.
Okay, you had to be with that album. That was the ultimate rap album.
Man.
Listen. It's a lot going on in Milwaukee.
Be the same without that album. Man.
I mean, come on, man. Let's stop. Yeah, come on, man. Yeah, look, we're gonna do a show Wednesday, and I because once again I had a reflective weekend, right? Like I had to sit my old ass down. I couldn't do, I'm old and shit. I can't. My Energizer battery run down sometime. Nigga need a nap in a blanket, right? But I started thinking about things and the way things are, and I said, man, we right now in my age group, we are the definitive representation of what hip hop was and is, right? And then now this next generation is probably the next step in that. But when you think about hip hop and you think about the language, how we talk, what it's supposed to mean, it's all defined by my generation. All of the classic shit comes from the era of my maturation. So all of the greatest shit is my favorite shit, right? All of the classic shit is my shit. And so my generation, we pretty much have defined everything, how we dress, how, and you see young kids now. You say, I don't understand these boys, but there's some symbolism with what they do, and it's supposed to represent them being of independent thought and being able to run away from the plantation and do what they want. Is it bastardized now? Yes, it is, but it's definitely something that we put forth, saying no, we're gonna move outside the box. We're no longer in the box, right? We gonna show the boule up. Fuck the boule. The black boule. I know. I'm on my shit tonight. I'm on some soapbox shit,
Yeah,
man. But real, it's real
we gonna
talk.
get this money and
Oh,
walk
damn.
right on past it. Boule on past it.
Say that again, Kamar.
Yeah, we gonna get this money and boule on past their ass.
Yeah, man. We ain't worried about no gatekeepers. No. We ain't worried about no gatekeepers. But no, real got me fired up early, man. We got to talk about that shit, man. That shit get me fired up. Um,
Yeah.
Listen, I have to say this. I have to give somebody props. I'm not necessarily giving props, but acknowledge what he's doing, because we talk about the politicians and the people in public office here who are doing things or making things happen or taking whatever is provided and making sure it hits in the right place. So I got to shout out DC Crowley. And I understand some people's criticism of the brother, because I also got to talk about the picture of him walking in the St. Patrick's joint today downtown, the only black person within a 5, 10, 15-mile radius. But that's neither here nor there. Right now, we are in the throes in Wisconsin of what's known as an opioid epidemic, right? People don't really know, because the homicide in our community gets all the press. But the reality is we're in the midst of an opioid addiction, which takes a whole lot of white young people away from this planet, right? I think it's up to 4 or 5, maybe 6 people per hour are overdosing on opioids. Now, if you don't know what opioids are, let's talk about what an opioid is. First and foremost, you want to stigmatize marijuana. You stigmatize alcohol, cigarettes. You talk shit about fat people, whatever, what have you. But you got people who do have pain and people who don't have pain who are addicted to legal drugs, which is what they classify as opioids, which means they are pills that have been approved by the FDA and by the government for your consumption for pain. No, don't smoke no nickel bag of weed, as if we catch you with that, you're gonna get a ticket. Take this bottle of 200 milligrams of fucking Percocet or fucking Vicodin and take this, right? Because we can tax this, and it's turned into an epidemic.
Right.
So
Right.
there was a lawsuit. A lot of people don't know this. I'm here to bring light, right? So there was a lawsuit that a lot of people don't know that Wisconsin was involved in. Milwaukee County was involved in. There was a $411 million settlement in which and we're talking about Johnson & Johnson and all of the major drug producers. I ain't talking about Ray and them with a couple spots. I ain't talking about Tim who got the plug. I'm talking about Johnson & Johnson and them, right? Milwaukee County got $71 million of that money, right? David Crowley took 11 million off top, and they put fentanyl and Narcan vending machines in central locations, the first one being in the Marcia Coggs Health Center, in which if you're popping opioids right now, and a lot of y'all is and don't want to tell, if you are on that
man, they brag about that shit.
Well, okay, but so now
songs and shit.
Okay, I'm just saying. So slide up in there and get you some of them fentanyl testing strips, so your ass won't wake up dead. You feel me? And to me, that's what this should be. And so it's part of a $71 million settlement that Milwaukee County has won. It's supposed to be dished out in different, I guess, payouts or whatever. But so they're gonna put these vending machines with these fentanyl test strips and this Narcan in several other different locations across the county. And so I'm glad that this is, because this fentanyl, man, look, it's how many people, right? Like how many people have really, and it's what is it in cocaine, it's in heroin, it's in pills. I don't know that they've been able to synthesize it yet for weed. Hopefully they won't.
Here in the house, so
they
put
were
that shit in everything.
A house song?
Right. But I remember there was like there was news articles and shit about weed that was supposedly laced with fentanyl and shit like that. I don't know if it was true. I kind of thought it was just a way to kind of curb illegal weed sales for the dispensary sake. But maybe people is really dusting CBD and shit with that fentanyl.
Well, whatever. I think it's a good thing to have these test strips because pretty soon, check this out. Here's the good thing about living in the hood. Pretty soon, somebody's gonna give somebody some money and say, "Hey, man, go down there and give me about 5 of them motherfuckers packages." And so I know, and then he'll sell it to somebody. Pretty soon, this shit will be all over the hood. And so now, when you get your pills or when you get whatever it is, you dip the strip on it and see if you got some fentanyl on that joint.
Shit,
man.
it's gonna be the trap niggas gonna be the majority buyers because they want to make sure
they gonna be handing that shit out with their pills. Like test this shit, cuz. No, they won't. No, they gonna do it when they first get it.
Before I even buy it. Right. They gonna be like, let me dip the strip, nigga. No, let me dip the strip, nigga.
Yeah, it's like back in the days when cats used to be like, man, if I'm gonna buy some weight from you, get somebody to cook it up for me first, see if it'll come back. See, that's some old school shit. Will it come back? Like, man, I cooked that shit and we didn't come back.
And if it don't jump back, tell him he out of order. That's the whole damn note and shit.
Nigga say I bought a ½ ounce from you and got a 1/4 ounce of raw. I had flour in the bag. I cooked chicken afterwards. I'm on my old school drug dealer shit. My bad. I had flashback.
Cook that shit, it wouldn't even rock up.
Right. Come back, man. Come on, Kamar. I'm on my 90s flashback.
Raising Canaan yesterday and whatever.
Hey, I was in a drug raid. I was in a drug raid before, man. We was cooking dope up. We had some dope like that, dog. The shit wouldn't rock up. And right when we was realizing the shit wouldn't rock up is when somebody saw the police at the front door. Man, that shit went flying out the motherfucking windows, man.
Going to jail for some Jiffy
flying out the window.
Courtney, you said you was watching Raising Canaan and what?
Yeah, that nigga made some bad dope. And niggas was dying off the first hit. Whatever he added to it, fucked it up. Niggas was hitting it and dying death. Right here.
Yeah, but this real life with this fentanyl, though. Motherfuckers popping that shit and not waking up. Dion said, hey, juice lady.
Hey, Dion.
Paris LaShawn said, to hell with gatekeepers and boule. Absolutely. That's why we do Outlaw Radio. Dion said the opioid deaths are our reparations. It's our explain that for me, Dion. Tom Moore said, damn, the time got me fucked up. Okay. The strips, he mean. The strips is all okay. There you go, nigga. It don't help me because I don't do opioids. He said, I don't Dion said, my opinion, I don't feel no type of way when Europeans pass away. Hey man, that's what you say. Hey, you know, people have the right to those kinds of opinions. That's if you can say that on Outlaw Radio, but the opinions expressed on Outlaw Radio are solely those of the motherfucker that said it. So know who to be mad at. So people can say whatever. Be mad at the motherfucker who said the shit.
I realized I can't even really be talking crazy no more. You know, now I'm starting to do the village and I'm finna be partnering with people and they gonna fuck up the tune in. I'm like, man, fuck everybody. Fuck all them organizations.
Fucked up the church's money.
Now I gotta be all everything.
Well, I tell you what. You kick back and relax because we gonna talk shit. We don't give a fuck. I'm trying to you go ahead. I mean, there's certain lines I don't cross too because I'm aware. I ain't no square. But then look. At the end of the day, nobody don't control me. I do what I do. Dion said they're gonna take your ass to jail for going to those vending machines. Dion is too. Anytime some shit come up, Dion be like, they setting your ass up. Shout out to Mama Jenkins. She said, good evening, Outlaw family. Free Narcan for drug users overdosing and free gun locks for unresponsible gun owners. $11 million will be spent on vending machines to help save the lives of drug addicted. Narcan will be available for those that are overdosing on drugs. Gun locks will also be available in a vending machine. I wonder when they will put houses up for the homeless and fix these damn potholes. Thanks to the leaders of this city for using our tax dollars wisely. Okay, Mama Jenkins. Shout out to Mama Jenkins. Sean Moore said, if y'all don't vote that Mog out, like Mama said, so I'm ODing and I'm gonna stop and go get me some Narcan. It's counterproductive. So we condoning attempted murder, which will be the charge as soon as one dummy admits to having a strip and not using it. Okay, I love it. They're like
Narcan in your pocket. It's like they tell you where the spot's at, so you go grab you the Narcan before you hit the dope. So as soon as you feel yourself fading out, it's like, oh, no.
So it's like an EpiPen and shit for people with allergies and shit.
Right. Sean Moore said, "Hey Courtney, what up, Professor, Doctor, and K Billa? Listen
Peace.
here though.
Peace.
No. I said it was a good thing. I said it. Nobody else even got to say what they was gonna say because I've been running my goddamn mouth. I said it was a good thing because I feel like this will spread across into the streets. I feel like it's gonna leak out into the neighborhood and it could potentially save some lives. Now, here's the thing: nobody's gonna pull up at the vending machine, or maybe they will when somebody's overdosing. Like, look, I need to get one of them pens. I got somebody ODing in my car. I feel like it will be bought and distributed out, so it'll be on hand. You in the spot with somebody, they fuck. Oh, you say, oh shit, the thing I got this Narcan, jug his ass and run. I don't know. I feel like cats who sell pills or who sell this shit will get the strips early, test they shit, and be like, this shit got fentanyl on it, bro. I'm not buying this shit. Maybe I don't. Is it all bad or is it all good?
You know what I'm saying? And still sell that shit. You know, it's old game out here. I don't know what's going on.
Mama Jenkins said, finish reading, KB. Mama Jenkins, that's all they gave me. I didn't get the rest. You said, thanks to the leaders of this city for using our tax dollars wisely. It shows me where you were saying something else, but I can't see the rest of the.
It just stopped at IG.
Yeah, I think I only got so many characters allowed up on here. Let me see. Sean Moore said, I'm ODing and I'm gonna shoot that shit at me. How when I'm dying? I didn't say you would. I said hopefully you're somebody who's with you. Well, look, if we getting high together and I say, dog,
coming on, you feel the OD finna hit, and you like, oh shit.
If you solo dolo getting high and you OD, you probably dead. I'm saying if you with your partner, right, and he say, man, you finna do this shit. I got the Narcan if something happen, and you go into it. Hopefully it jug you. I mean, okay, so tell me this.
I think the idea is probably for people to get them beforehand and have them.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
And do dope and make sure they have a partner to do it with.
No. Listen, if you by yourself getting geeked like that, you got an issue. This is something that's a whole other issue.
Well,
I'm saying if there's a chance to save a life, it's like saying if I'm having a heart attack and the doctor's got the little shock thing, the defibrillator, right? And they got the defibrillator. So they say if somebody having a heart emergency, break the glass and get this out and give it to them, right? Now, if I'm having a heart attack and I'm there by myself, what's the likelihood of me saying, oh shit, let me defibrillate myself? So that's like saying don't even have them around. I mean, damn.
Felt like she was having a heart attack and she drove herself to the hospital and she was having a mild heart attack. She drove to the hospital. So some shit, you can save yourself. Your defibrillator might be right there.
I heard of stuff like that before.
Yeah, so you might be like, oh shit.
Listen. You know what's so funny?
It's just an option, you know what I mean?
You know what's so funny about y'all saying all this? I drove myself to the hospital when I had a heart attack. Didn't know I had a heart attack, right? Right? I drove myself right to the clinic on the phone with my wife. Like, look, if I pass out, I'm on Capitol.
And you know, I guess I'm guessing that's what that thing is for. You know what I mean? To help save somebody whenever it can be saved.
If there's a chance,
the goal is to save a life if you can.
And once again, this money it's a settlement. I don't know where it comes from, but it doesn't come from our tax money in Milwaukee that I know of. If somebody knows better, educate me on it. I just say, look, if some money's given, if you give me $71 million, it's better for me to try to do something than to say, fuck it, it's a lost cause. I ain't gonna do shit with this money. Fuck them fentanyl strips. I think they need to be widely distributed so people can.
My bad.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Have they ever considered, like, because you know in Europe they got actual centers where people can come and take their drugs safely, to where they got like medical personnel on standby in case some bullshit jump off. Right. Like, have they ever had that kind of discussion here? Like, I mean, because people grown, they're gonna do what they want to do, but maybe have a facility.
Right. Yeah.
Well, because then you would have to decriminalize drugs here, real, and then that's a whole different ball game for America because of the way the drug laws are set up. So they say possession is 9/10 of the law. So if we got somebody sitting downstairs, okay, let's go to the clinic and throw a party. We having an 8-ball party at the clinic. You can't have a motherfucker with dope and all his friends. Like if somebody OD, just go upstairs. No, you can't. You can't really do it like that. But I'm just saying, man, it's about throwing lifelines. But y'all got the right to y'all opinion. Dion
Are
said,
niggas
"See, he
using
said,
these drugs like that where you need Narcan, or is this just white folks? Like I said, they got the Narcan to Askins barbecue, but I haven't heard any stories about niggas needing Narcan in the hood. I hear about it on the South Side. I hear about it in all these other areas, but I don't hear about it on Center Street.
well, see,
We
you
got
don't hear about it. You don't hear about it, but it most definitely happens. Opioids are a big part of the black. Rail just said, Kamar they just laughed about. We brag about Molly Percocets, Molly Percocets. We
yeah.
do every drug in the hood, and your ass just die. Nobody gives a fuck. There's another dead nigger on Center this morning. You know, it's just what it is in Milwaukee.
Like
Deion
motherfuckers be
says,
like, damn, and then
right.
another day come.
Right. Who fuck his autopsy? Just bury his ass. This motherfucker off several drugs. He's got an ODB cocktail in his system. Damn, that was a horrible joke. My bad, y'all. Dion says this is an instrument for white people. When crack was the epidemic, there was no help, only jail. Yeah, yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, yeah. But okay,
I mean, yeah,
so
that's
what does that really mean? Okay, so does that mean that now we should have no empathy? Because there are white people, but there's a lot of black people dying from overdoses as well. Let's not forget that there are a lot of black people who are addicted to opioids, so they're at risk. They're at risk as well. So I don't. I mean, I'm not. I recognize the past, but I'm not mad about it like that. I'm not holding it against nobody. I'm trying to move
I
better in the future.
mean, I think it's enough black people on it to where like I don't mind this place. I hope they get their money or whatever. But that 414 pain place, like it's like they got a cold ass jingle to advertise, for people who in pain. So I mean, I don't know if they prescribe opioids or how that work, but it just show you the amount of people that are walking around living in pain who actually might legally need these. Like I had a friend who started out because he had an accident at his job, but he did end up getting addicted to them. He was able to, get himself off, but he did struggle with it for a little bit. But he was legally prescribed that shit, a black dude, because of a work accident.
I'm saying it's not like there's not black people who use opioids. If you just tuning in, we're talking about the fentanyl test strips with the Narcan kits that are being these vending machines that are being placed. I'm glad y'all chiming in. I'm glad people are letting me know how they feel about it. Some black people are like, what the fuck is that? That's a waste of time. I feel like, hey, man, everything that you're trying to do is a good thing. It might not succeed, but trying is better than not trying. I'm just saying. I'm trying not to give power away. I'm trying to take it, right? I'm trying not to give up and acquiesce. I'm trying to grab something, right? Let me see. Now, Ernest, you got a good point. He said, professional, I don't get no fuck. High getters ain't caring about the machines. Once again, I think the machines are a very small part of it. I think what's in those machines will be purchased just like anything else does, because somebody's going to say, hey, you know what? Go get me. You go down there? Yeah, I'll go in there and get them here. Here go $10. Go in there and give me a bunch of them test strips.
Hey, look,
So I can test my shit when I get it. There's a lot of people who are going to do that. Go ahead, Kamar.
You may have some family members who you love who out there living that life. You know what I'm saying? And like, it may help if you could get them something like that. Here, carry this around. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, there's some positives to it. You know what I'm saying? I don't think there's some positives to it, but then there's also some stuff about it where I feel like they trying to normalize this shit too. Take away accountability.
Oh, damn. Okay. I feel you. I like that. Once again, people have to understand, if you're listening to this show right now, understand this. Anything you say on this show, you're right. You know why? Because it's your opinion. It's your point of view. You're right. It's the show where you can't be wrong. Like Seinfeld was the show about nothing. This is the show where you can't be wrong, right? Because it's your own shit. Okay. Let me see. Dion said, motherfuckers know that shit will kill them. Why use? I have no sympathy, and you deserve the right to say I don't have any sympathy.
And that's the accountability part. You know what I mean? Like they know what can happen when they live in this lifestyle. It's fucked up that drug got their brain like that though.
Yeah, addiction is a sickness, and it should be treated just like every other sickness. When we stop stigmatizing it, then treatment methods will improve. Sean Moore said, I'm not understanding how this shit is a good idea. My uncle was a junkie, and once that shit hit, You have no control. Save a life by changing the environment they're in. Yeah, well, you know what? Changing that environment is going to take a lot longer than it will to put a goddamn vending machine in there for you to get some fentanyl test strips. I mean, I'm just saying, man. What we talk about the difference between an agenda and a plan. One is what we gonna do today. One is what we hope to get done by next month. There's a difference between the two. Okay. He said, so we're saying as long as I got a vest, y'all can keep shooting at me. Ain't that how some motherfuckers operate with it though? Like, look, I just
Right.
hope they don't hit me in the head.
Hey, look, and see, and that's why I say, there's two sides to that coin.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like you can look at that so many different ways, depending on the perspective of the person that's seeing it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Listen, Sharon Evans said, government crack houses. Hey man, maybe that's what needs to happen. See, I'm one of those people who believes drugs should have been legalized a
Peace,
long
Sharon.
time ago. I believe drugs should have been
Right.
legalized a long time ago, and with the money that you can save, that you can make off drugs by regulating them, you can create real rehabilitation programs. And I'm here to tell you, and we all know this, that when it's easy to criticize drug addicts and dope fiends and you hype ass motherfucker and this and that till it's your sister or your brother or your uncle or your mama or your daddy. Then it's like, oh man, and he could be out here horrible as fuck, and you still ready to ride for him. He is conniving, lying, low down, dirty dope fiend. Let somebody touch him on the block. Say, man, I don't give a fuck if he is a hype man. Don't be slapping my uncle and shit. Don't be doing that shit to my auntie. So that's the reason I'm not just gonna necessarily say fuck you, you go die in a gutter because you're a drug addict. I'm gonna say, man, you need to go and get some help. If you choose not to, I'm not gonna shed a tear. I'm not gonna be like, oh my God. I'm be like, man, shit, you should have went and got some help. There's that accountability part. I love you, but you on some bullshit. I guess that's how I look at it. Mama Jenkins said it's gonna be just like that methadone where people got high on that shit. Yeah. I mean, it's yeah, ups and downs. He said they're not legalizing it, they're just making it okay until you get caught or you die. Okay. I mean, you're gonna have to die anyways. How you doing, my sister? You gotta die from something. People
Peace.
you might die. Look, man, you might die driving a goddamn car, right? Driving a car is dangerous. People don't even think about how I'm on a fucking freeway with other cars doing 85 miles per hour. The tire blow out. My ass is grass. It's everything you do is dangerous. You might die doing it, right? Like, what do you do about drugs then? If we're not gonna try something, then what do we do about it?
I feel like it's a lot of different things that has to be done. Like it's
Okay.
awareness that has to be arisen. You know what I mean? Like it's got to be classes or rehabs. It's got to be, all type of shit's got to happen.
And you know what, Kamar? Outside that classroom need to be a goddamn vending machine with fentanyl test strips. So after I get you in class and tell you what fentanyl does and how, at the risk you face, you can go out there and get you some test strips and take it home before you get high.
And who knows? It may be a couple motherfuckers who do give a fuck and make sure they got some test strips.
Yeah.
Might be,
It's like getting drunk at home, but hiding your car keys from yourself so you won't drink and drive, right? He said no empathy. I hear you. Mama Jenkins, 644 overdose deaths, and they said overdoses are up now for blacks. Okay, so okay.
Because of that, because of the fentanyl.
Well, that's what did we just say? It's not just a white people thing. I know a lot of us want to say, oh, now the white folks dying. No, it's a lot of black people dying from this shit too. Mama just made another point. Look at the methadone clinics. They got them off one drug so they can become addicted to another. Well, once again, you don't have to go and take it. I mean, from my understanding, you don't get dope sick from methadone. So if you go get it, at least you won't get dope sick. I don't know. I've never done heroin. I would not tell. I tell you like this: if somebody was on heroin and they said, Kevin, you know what? I need some help. I'm gonna go to the methadone clinic. I'll say, that shit can kill you too. But man, whatever you got to do to get off that shit, start there. Start at the methadone clinic. You got to start somewhere, right?
I had an uncle, or I got an uncle that was in that methadone clinic for years, and yeah, you do get sick if you don't get down there to it. And then also, what ended up happening with him is, like, dude, this shit crazy, right? Because I'm 39. My uncle was on heroin my whole life, so now he's probably like 70 something. So now he's dealing with dementia and shit. So at that methadone clinic, if you can't remember your PIN, you can't get your methadone shit. So, he was he was kind of nervous because he had enough sense to know that, hey, if I don't get my shit, I could die. But he couldn't remember his pen to get the shit, and they was like, "No, we don't play that. We don't care if you got your ID. We don't care if you got your social. What's your pen? Type shit." So, luckily, he did go through his withdrawals, but he was in the hospital for some other shit while he was, doing it. So he was able to live through it. But yeah, that methadone shit, it was just their way of getting people back on some shit that they can get paid for. Because remember, heroin was created for the people who are addicted to morphine from the war. They went away to war, got addicted to morphine. So they changed the chemical composition by like a molecule, and now instead of morphine is heroin, and they rebranded it as the safer option to morphine. So all that shit, it's the
sugar
name.
and cocaine.
It's the name of the game, man. We can't get back off this one no more. Let's create a new product, get back off this shit, criminalize that shit because that done got to the streets and the market is flooded on that. Let's get this new patent cracking. Like the pharmaceutical game is the dope game. It's just the legalized dope game.
Right. Well, I mean, listen. It is you made yourself a pawn when you start doing heroin. So that's just one of the consequences of your behavior.
I mean, that's just one of the medicines that they do this shit with. They do this shit with diabetes medicine, all kind of shit. They change the patent, get that new shit cracking because now they can charge exorbitant amounts of money because they got that patent.
You know that by watching the commercials when they give you miracle drugs and then they give you the side effects. I'd rather just be sick. Like, I'd rather just have acne. I don't want to bleed out my butt. Mama Jenkins said, "Look at my whole." She said, "Look, my whole left side is bionic, and I was on that shit. It had me so fucked up every day. I had to get off that shit. Them damn doctors will peel your ass up and fuck you up." Sean said, "So
they get a kickback from it.
So we can say that the kid that's 10 doesn't deserve a chance at life, but we giving people that sell death the dice." And know that they loaded. Who said that a kid at the age of 10 don't deserve a chance at life? Because I said lock the motherfucker up who killed his mama. Hell yeah, I said that shit. And I said it. That's just me though. I don't. And look, you said the people that sell death. Some of the people selling death is your own people. We sell it to each other. I mean, we were white man. We selling shit to each other. Cats riding around with fluorescent incandescent paint on their cars and shit with big diamonds on because we sell the shit to each other. I'm just saying I did say get a kid. Does he deserve a chance at life? He just killed his mama. His life is fucked. To me, that's just my opinion. Sean, he said if he wasn't out of order, you better not touch him. Oh yeah, he talking about when you had a dope fiend. Well, he probably was out of order. He was a drug addict. Your dope fiend uncle did dope fiend shit. That's why he got slapped, right? But it don't matter till it's hurting you. Fuck being proactive. If it ain't hurting you, you don't care. I'm not talking about you specifically, Sean. I'm saying that's our mentality. If drugs were legal, the prisons would be empty. Well, it damn sure would be a lot of open space. But I see that as a good thing. I see that as a good thing. You know what I mean? He said the methadone clinic is across from the hotspot. Is it? Is it a methadone clinic by the hotspot? Parents, LaShawn said we have safe injection sites out here in Denver. They've proven to save lives and they can use doctors' supervision and they get clean needles and new pipes if they smoke crack or meth.
Oh, okay. So they do that in America because that's what they do in Europe, some places.
Okay. I thought you were talking about here in Wisconsin. He said, look at the message too, though, KB. We telling people that may be scared to try drugs. Got off after ODing. Listen, you ain't got to worry about nothing happening to you. I got Narcan right here. I got test strips. Come on, let's try it.
I can see that.
Strips faulty or they expire. Well, that's on. Listen, I can't hold your hand. I can't.
Like training willing them back into the addiction.
I can't bubble wrap you. Listen, if you OD'd, right, and if you were strung out on something and you looked at it like, oh, they got fentanyl test strips now, I can start getting high again. That's on you. That's on you. I'm strictly talking about saving somebody's life. That's all I'm talking about. All the other scenarios of a motherfucker who ain't did no fentanyl in 20 years gonna say, "Ooh, they got strips. I can start getting high again." That's on that person. Like that. That's neither here nor there. I don't know. Y'all tell me
Yeah,
how
that need
y'all
to be a
feel about that
comedy
shit.
skit right there, man.
I mean, I'm
That
just
shit need to
saying,
be a
like, what?
comedy
They got
skit.
strips now? Baby, look, they got strips now. We can go pop
Right.
pills again.
It's
We
all
back
good.
like on Coming to America with Mortimer and Randolph. Like, you know what this mean? We
Right, we
back.
back. We back, nigga. Let's go get 2 for 15. I mean, come on, man. And come on. He said, a parent said I have fentanyl
Randolph.
strips too. He said I had some fentanyl strips too. They pass out all this stuff out here. Call it harm reduction. That's a good method, bro. Listen, staying ready. You don't got to get ready. I just believe in being pro. If you know you fucked up, why not prepared for the fuck upness? Right? If you know it's fucked, that's like when you finna go somewhere rough. You gotta pack accordingly. I might not need this shit, but it's better for me to have it and not to need it than to need it and not to have it. So I'm taking it. Right? When I travel, I do that a lot. Like I don't need to take this, but I'm gonna take it. You never know when you might end up like Ennis Cosby. You got to have that iron when you get on the highway. Ewok said, I know hardworking people who are prescribed perps for honest chronic pain who have become addicted. They end up buying off when they run out. And then these are the people that are going to run into some fentanyl trying to get it when their prescription run out. So tell me it ain't good for that
Yeah.
person to say, let me go get some of these strips, man, because I don't want to die from this shit. I'm just having an issue. There are some
Hey,
people
look,
who getting high that
them
they
may be
totally.
the people. Them may be the people who I said who may really give a fuck still. You know what
That's
I
what,
mean?
yeah. Yeah,
At
yeah,
least
yeah.
give them a chance to get back up off that shit.
Yes, sir. Yes,
I
sir.
mean, like
So
I
I
said,
mean,
you
shit.
know, it go both ways.
Yeah, man. You
Ain't
right.
nobody wrong.
Whatever you say on Outlaw Radio, you right. He said, how many times can they use Narcan before they become immune? Too many what ifs. Yeah, and if you getting high and you say, it's too many ifs in that, I ain't gonna get no fentanyl strips, then you suffer the consequences to it. You study long, you study wrong. It's called paralysis by analysis. If you selling that shit, I don't care who it is. If they selling death, they don't get no chances. That's my opinion. And fentanyl a different game, bro. Dog, what's wrong with you? He said, motherfucker, take as prescribed. Then it don't work like that. If people could control shit, if this monster wasn't so great, it wouldn't have victimized so many people. The best of them done been victimized by a substance, man. Let's not. I know people like to because it's not their issue. Well, that shit would never happen to me.
Yeah.
You could get folded up in a car accident right now, or some surgical procedure, or something happen to you, and you take that medicine, and your pain can get so overwhelming that you don't know what, man, I fucked around, took this, and man, that was the only thing that made me feel better instead of just sitting around in constant pain.
Man.
So I mean, you don't know. You know, you got to cross your fingers and knock on wood, man. That's why I'm saying it's so. One of the basic things that
Yeah.
we should have that we at an all-time low of is empathy for one another as human beings. We so eager to just shit on somebody because they got an illness or they got a condition or because they're in a situation. Fuck them. Fucking ain't nothing but a dope fiend. Fuck his broke ass. Fuck his fat ass. Fuck his sick ass. Like we don't have no empathy to say, man, is there any way we can begin to help this individual? Like even if I offer you a lifeline and you don't take it, I don't feel as bad when when you perish or something because I say at least I know I tried to help him. At least I know I extended myself. That's just where I'm at, bro. That's where I'm
I
at,
said,
man.
I was talking about that earlier today. You know, a lot of people, they want you to help them, but they want you to help them the way they want you to help them, not the way you can.
Right,
help
right.
Yeah, that's
Right.
true too.
And like a lot of the time, I done gave a motherfucker some advice.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Numerous times, and they didn't listen. And here they is bumping their head again, looking for help again.
But you know what, Kamar? You don't
Right.
pass judgment on them at that point.
No,
But
I don't.
with you and myself and any other person involved, we all have a line, right? And I'm gonna go so far with you before it jeopardizes my situation, my own personal safety or whatever. So I'm gonna help you until we get to that point where I can say, man, bro, man, I done pretty much did everything I can for you, man. At this point, I gotta let you.
Yeah.
I gotta kind of let you go ahead, inherit your fate. And there's nothing wrong with that either. But I'm gonna give you
Right.
lifelines before I do that. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, man, welcome to the show. It's 262-202-5131. Outlaw Radio on a Monday night. How was your weekend? Hit us up. Let us know what y'all doing. Y'all tripping about the snow? I'm not. It's Wisconsin. It's wintertime.
Right.
And I also understand that this snow is necessary. I understand that there's some animals and some nature that need wintertime to come for them to thrive. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not gonna let my selfishness as a tropical person deprive them. Is that what they talk about? Your carbon footprint is we have a lot of demands and things that we need as humans to live, some of which we don't necessarily need, but we utilize. But it's all really about, I don't feel like my right to live should impede upon anybody else, right? Like I don't feel
Right.
like I'm so special that I should shit on somebody else for my own survival. I think I should be focused on my survival so that it won't get into desperate situations where I need to go after somebody else's shit. You feel me? Unless we get money, and then business is a whole other thing. Uh Sean Moore said, bruh, once a junkie, always a junkie. You don't give a junkie a needle and think he ain't gonna use it. I'm not giving him a needle. I'm not giving him a needle, but if I can give him a clean needle so that maybe one day because he still has a chance to come out of this. I got an uncle, I got several uncles, several family members who at one point in the 80s, because they were 70s dudes, they were 60s and 70s dudes, heavily, right? Like serious, like the whole afros and stacks. Some of them in the 80s got on crack. And if you looked at them in crack in the 80s, you said, Dolphin ass motherfucker. But they lived and they beat that shit. And they old men now living down south or wherever, they done got away from it, and they don't give you nothing but wisdom every time you talk to them. Every time they speak, it's a what they call it in church rail, a testimony. They'll tell you, like, look here, man. Let me
Testimony.
tell you what I done seen, right? And so that's the value of saying I'm not gonna give up on you. And I got an uncle who'll tell you, hey man, I thank everybody for not giving up on me, because at one point y'all should have. But luckily, I have a
Mm-hmm.
family that said no, it ain't never over, right? Okay, you done been in rehab 15 times. You want to go a 16 time, motherfucker? Because I drop you off. Now, I ain't gonna stay there and go through the intake like I did the first 8 times with you, but I sure drop your ass off.
Right.
You feel me? And that's the way we gotta be, man. That's the way we gotta be. Let me see. Let me see. Mama Jenkins said, they're a damn lie. I know if after a shoulder replacement and hip replacement, that pain will whip your ass and rub that shit on. Don't do the job. So the doctor will help you out with that oxycodone. They sure would. It'll give it to you in spades, because then everybody
Mm-hmm.
getting paid. He said, how much snow
Mm-hmm.
y'all expecting? We supposed to get some snow on Thursday. That's a foregone conclusion. We in the midst of we hadn't had any, so you knew it was coming. What were we, about
Right.
six
Right.
inches over the weekend, something like that? He said addiction shouldn't be
It's
dealt a death
getting.
sentence. People can change if they're willing to change. You never know, man. You can't count nobody out. That's what it's all about, man. You can't count nobody out. You don't never know. You never know. And when you ignore a situation, it's like we talk about with the violence. For everybody who's, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. That's why I moved out here. I stay in a safe place. I stay in a good community. Okay, you left, but what about your nieces, your nephews, your friends, their family, people who are still close to it? And it creeps slowly, slowly but surely until it creeps up to your door. Damn, my son's best friend, my son, my daughter, right? That's why when it's happening to one person, it's happening to everybody. That's why you have to give a fuck. That's why it's bad when we as a community, I don't give a fuck. You should, right? And we let each other get away with saying that. We should stop letting each other get away. Man, I don't give no fuck. You should, brother. You should give a fuck, man.
I keep an eye
Because
on them motherfuckers that don't give a fuck. I don't trust them
that's a
because they
dangerous
don't give a
person.
fuck.
He said, watch that nigga. He said he don't give a fuck.
Straight up, better believe them when they say it.
Right, right, right. Let me see. Paris, he said addiction. Okay, we read that. So check this out. Now I got another thing. I'm gonna go in and out because we got with this Milwaukee, we got a lot going on in Milwaukee. Um, but now y'all listen to Charleston White, right? Like, and so I told you I live in the podverse, and I watch trends and I watch what the media is looking like. It's very important to understand the nature of the messages that we're inundated with, because a lot of people, I don't care about social media, I don't care about the internet, I don't care about TV, I don't care. Okay, well, you motherfuckers who live out on a commune with no Wi-Fi and all that, that's fine. But I pay attention to trends. And so Charleston White, if you're not familiar with who Charleston White is, go and check him out. He is Kevin Samuels on steroids. And this new wave of podcasting and content creators and all of this has created kind of like a subculture in which we have individuals who we look to. It's on the good side, we've created our own kind of lane. We have some people who we go to regularly to hear them speak. You go watch his show, you watch his podcast, you watch his interviews. You say, man, this brother, it's good for me to have a variety and be able to hear stuff like this instead of me just being locked to 98.3 and 100.7. So Charleston White is the latest flavor, and he's basically a brother who is very, very extreme. And people point out and say, he says a lot of good things about the community, and he kind of uses cursing out rappers and disrespecting street gangs, and saying all kinds of crazy stuff to the streets, and especially the rappers. People say, well, that's good, they need that, and he's making a lot of sense because he does work in the community and all this. And I don't approve of what he does because I disagree with his methods. But this latest thing in which he's gotten into it now with China Mac, who's a rapper, right? And so he came out and went all in on Chinese people. And he's saying Chinese women and babies should be raped, and fuck Chinese people. And he tell the young cats in the hood to rob the Korean stores and rape the old Asian ladies, but don't kill them, and all of this stuff. And then when the Chinese people come back and say, fuck you, hold on. You might be able to get away by talking to your people like that, but fuck that. Now, the narrative is we as black people should stand with him against Chinese people, right? And so I'm saying, okay, hold on. This is what happened when you let bullshit exist too long, right? Because when this was said about Math Hoffa, who's another YouTube personality, a former battle rapper, he went in and said that he wanted to rape Math Hoffa's daughter, 6-year-old daughter, and he put his thing in her mouth and all of this. And people say, "Ooh, but Charleston does things in the community.
Man.
We say a lot of smart stuff." He's talked about raping white girls. He's talked about, and of course we know he always talking about he's a snitch and he wants all gang members to die and disrespects dead rappers and all this kind of stuff. With the Chinese thing, do we criticize Asian people for their presence in our community here in Milwaukee, in which they do business and don't really give a piece back to the community, and by and large don't give a fuck about us? Yes, we do. Would I ever say I wouldn't care if they babies get raped and if the women deserve? He said Chinese women deserve to be raped, and they need to just and be anally raped. These are the things he's saying on his platform, and there are still black people who are saying, because I had a problem with him when he told T.I. that he was gonna George Zimmerman his son, and that was last year. When I said, for one black man to say that to another black man, to me that's what they call a red flag. I would say this is the kind of person I can't fuck with, because if that's even on your mind, I'm a George Zimmerman your son. I'm gonna act like I'm gonna let him attack me and get me down, and when he think he got me, I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna shoot him. I'm gonna leave his little black. And black people's like, oh, he killed T.I. That is so funny. He just joking around. With this shit with the Chinese people, Asian people, are we their best friends? No. But is this what we need to do? Is this how we need to sound? Is this how we need to express ourselves? Y'all tell me how y'all feel about this, because I've heard both of y'all. Well, I know, Kamar, you said you hear him say some good shit sometimes, right? So what do you think about it?
I also say, and I might have said it earlier in the show, you got to watch the shit you say. You know what I mean? You're going to have to deal with whatever it is you say. You
Right.
dig what I'm saying? You say something stupid, hell no, I'm not finna get behind you. You say something that's out of the line of what we own, yeah, hell no, I ain't finna get behind you. You know what I'm saying? Nobody tell you to disrespect nobody, man. That ain't what life about. Okay. I'm all about creating peace and making sure peace stay in my life. So I don't be out here disrespecting nobody.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you ain't gonna have peace afterwards. So no, I'm not getting behind you. I mean, but then that ain't to say that, you know what I mean, I'm getting on the people that will. You know what I mean? Because it's how you feel. Ride with what you feel. You know what I'm saying? Ride with what you think. But you got to pay the consequences for your shit.
And we talk about being on code, though. I don't believe this is something we should get on. We gonna get on code. I don't
No,
listen.
ain't nobody tell dog to get in that bullshit.
I don't know. Real, what you think about what you're hearing, man? Because I know you probably ain't even watched him, or you probably don't keep up on it. What you think about this?
Nah, me personally, I'm not like if you wrong, you wrong. I ain't about to ride with you just because you family or you a friend or a black person. Like I don't know what brought about his rant about Koreans and shit, but I mean, I don't like to generalize any demographic of people, and then especially wishing harm on. I believe in karma, fam. So whatever
Straight up.
energy you put out there, it has to be collected by somebody.
Right.
And a lot of times, if the people who you speaking it on ain't warrant that shit in they karma, that shit returning back home to you in some form of fashion. So I wish
Even,
nothing but blessings and prosperity on folk so that shit can come back to me.
hey, even if it is coming back in their karma, yours still coming back. What you put out is what
Right.
you get back. If I put out hate, it's coming back. That's just how it works. You know what I mean? Like I can't
Mm-hmm.
wish no ill on either one of y'all. I'm only wishing it on me. We part of the same energy.
Right. But okay. So I guess my thing here is even if you're gonna do community, resource fairs, if you're gonna go talk to young people, when you start, even if it's funny to you to make jokes about sodomizing children, if it's funny, if rape is funny, if that's your go-to insult, oh, I rape you, shut up. I don't care what you
Damn.
do for kids. As a matter of fact, I don't want you around
Right.
my kids. You feel me? Like I see, that's what I'm
Right.
saying. Like, we're so right now, we're so thirsty and we're so deprived that we latch on to bullshit and try to call it real shit instead of just snuffing it out early. And so like, somebody like this, and he has people scared. Like people they don't want it with this dude. They don't want no drama with this dude. He actually strikes fear into some people because he will say anything and he has no boundaries and you have to have some kind of boundaries. It's bad.
I don't think
Deion
it's a
James
fear.
says,
I don't
Kev,
think
that garbage ass nigga ain't nothing like Kevin Samuels. Well, okay, okay, I will give you that, Dion. Not to that extent, right? But I felt like at one point Kevin Samuels was just throwing caution to the wind, saying certain things. I think Kevin Samuels was a lot more methodical. He was obviously a lot more cerebral in his approach. But I guess that was kind of like a bad comparison. But Kevin Samuels came first, and so I was really talking about the progression, not really about the similarities between the two. Ewok said he's a con man, dickhead who makes a valid point to reel you in. Then he goes to his bullshit to draw in money. Sean Moore said, my aunt Korean. I'm out that shit, but to every other race, they didn't say shit when he talked about us. That's on bruh with that mess. Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what they were saying. Like, well, you might be able to get away with that shit talking down to black people, but the China, we gonna ride, right? Like we gonna come at your ass. That's what China Mac was saying. Sean Moore said, "Code my ass." He said that's our problem in this city. These fake ass codecs, these fake ass cliques play by ain't no damn code. What's the code? Well, I talk about the code of black people being on code. I feel like we as black people, if we want to, those of us who consider ourselves progressive. So I guess this is the best example. You take a brother like Kamar, and you take a brother like Rail, and you take a brother like myself, right? I feel like there's an unspoken code amongst us in which something that's important for our people, something that's positive for our people, a way to represent our people, a way to be family men and represent for our families. I don't feel like we need to sit down and go over all those rules. Like I got to say, hey, Rail man, this is what I got written down. Some things I can say he will understand innately. He'll say, yeah, man, hell yeah, that makes sense because it's a code. It's like a computer code. Like
like what's understood don't need to be explained.
there you go. So I feel
We
like
know it
black people,
already. We go
yeah,
downtown.
Right.
We go downtown. We know we ain't got shit to say. Shut the fuck up.
right, no doubt, right, and no matter
Right.
what, like
But then
and so
also, Kev, when we talk about a code, we also be talking about the type of code that we need to have also. because we need to build a code. Actually, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
it's certain stuff though. You know what I mean? When you got partners and you got friends, you know what I mean?
So Kamar, that extends itself to in this country when we start talking about stuff like police reform, and we start talking about justice, reforming the justice system, or the need for more accountability from our elected officials, and wanting to hold them accountable for the things that they need to be doing. Then when one of us speaks on that, all of the rest of us say he's right. I'm with him on that. That's
Right.
being on code with each other. Right. That's saying, nah, he's right. That's what's good. You ain't gotta be, oh man, I don't see. A lot of times we make up reasons to disagree. Man, dude, I just don't like dude's shoes, man. He right, man, but man, I don't fuck with no Converse.
Right.
I don't fuck. You know, we come up with stupid shit instead of saying, man, I don't care what kind of shoes he got on, man. That brother's right. Right. That brother's right. So I just with the whole and like I was watching the whole rap a lot, watch him do this to rappers and watch him go through all these battles with people. And so, you know, I just be like, I'd be like, man, you know, why won't we collectively dismiss people like that from our communities? Why won't we say, don't support dude, man? Don't support that shit, man. That shit ain't cool. We go with it and keep saying, well, he makes some good points. I don't care if you are making good points. It's bullshit. You want some bullshit, right? And so I just think, man, you don't want to see anything happen to somebody like this. But the unfortunate reality is something probably is gonna happen to do, man. You feel me? Like I mean, because you writing your check. Yeah, you writing the check.
No,
man.
I don't think God punishes nor rewards.
Okay.
I feel like it's a decision that we all make that you know what I mean, that determine our lives. You know what I mean? This is one of the gifts that we was given. This is a God-given gift called free will. You know what I mean?
Right.
Now, depending on which way you go with it, you know what I'm saying, is the way your life gonna turn out.
Right.
Again, let's get back to accountability of our own shit.
Right.
That's how we gonna fix our community. Everybody gotta do that.
Yeah, man.
That's just hard.
You're right. Come on. You are definitely correct. It's Outlaw Radio, man, where nobody's ever wrong. We already said that. It's Outlaw Radio. You're right. But Sean was saying code. What code? There is a code. I believe, and I think a lot of us who are, you know, I met a lot of good brothers, man. And a lot of good sisters who really want the best for the community. You take people who are on this show a lot of times, who support the show and who make comments or who call in. A lot of us are like-minded, but we're not carbon copies, right? Like we want to see black people win, but we don't all agree on how that looks or how we get to that point. See, I'd rather be in a room full of people like that than a room full of people who don't want to see us win. Right? Like I'd rather debate with you about where we going if we trying to get to the same place. So I'm saying all that to say I'd rather argue with you about how we gonna get there rather than if we going or not. You feel me? Like once we on the road, you say, why don't you take Burlock? Because I don't like Burlock. I'm gonna take Lisbon. You stupid, that's fast. But we still gonna get there eventually. As opposed to, I ain't going. Man, well, how I'm gonna get there? I don't give a fuck how you get there either. Take whatever way you want. You're not going with me. It's a difference. It's a difference. He said Deion Willie was salty at face for performing at the Grammys. He came out left field with that one. I thought we talked about that one a couple weeks ago. He said, y'all understand, but put 50 other people in the room with y'all. How many of them on code? Do they know about the code? Your code may not be my code, and unless we communicate, we won't know. You shouldn't take anything for granted. I think that's why we do a show. I think that when you turn on a microphone and say everybody can get a chance to speak, you ain't taking shit for granted. You saying, let's see how we actually feel about this thing, y'all. Let's see what we can come up with. So I definitely know if you put 50 people in the room, they won't all be on the same page. But I can guarantee you this and that, Sean, if there's 50 people in the room and you get up and speak and you talk about what you feel like the code is, at least half that room is going to say, I'm with dude. And the other half will leave, right? And they'll go about their business. But guess what? You 25 stronger than you was before you started. Because when you started out, you didn't have nobody with you. Now it's 25 of us. Now, if we meet with 50 more people next week, we get 25 more. It's 50. See what I'm saying? The numbers, if we stay consistent with our message, the numbers get greater. right? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And I don't expect my code to be your code, but let's create a us code. Why can't we find the good points? Why can't we find the comfort zones? And say, okay, we disagree on some shit. Let's talk about what we do agree on and build. That's what building is, right? Uh Erica Ville said I need my $2.5 million. Hey, don't we all? I think I could use an extra 2.5. I think I could. I think I could. I think I could. Now, did y'all see this? There was questions about this shootout with the police that were New Berlin police that were in Milwaukee. There was this big chase and there was this shootout. Y'all see that they said that this young brother he was on a crime spree and it was a big chase and this kind of thing, and this was the result of that. And the New Berlin cops was undercover, so I guess he was out. His computer was Putin, and he didn't know that he was dealing with some undercover. So people said, "What the fuck going on? It must be something crazy." New Berlin, what New Berlin police doing down here? So I guess this was their explanation for that. Did y'all see this news come through, or did y'all what the fuck you talking about? Okay, it's in the People's News Network. It's in the People's News Network but we're still waiting on the follow-up information for the young brother who shot the cop. I don't have has anybody gotten any? I haven't heard anything else about that. Like, we still don't know what that. I'd like to know what that whole story was. I mean, it's not going to change the fact, but it was something we were asking questions about, and then we were asking questions about the brother who's killed up on Silver Spring or Fond du Lac, who was shot by the police officer when he crashed the car. I'm still waiting on the further developments on that. I try to, when I find things out, I try to give the news as I get it. I move at my own pace, I guess. He said you ain't. He said he ain't gonna hear nothing. Sean said you ain't gonna hear nothing. Well, you never know. Sometimes that information is out there, but they don't make a big fuss out of it, and we skip over it. Because you got to read consistently. That's the thing about keeping up with the news. You got to be consistent, because you'll be out here standing on some shit that they've already reported on. What you say, Kamar?
I said, yeah, they'll slip some shit in on you.
Yeah. You'll be out here running your mouth, and they're like, excuse me, they already resolved that. You be like, what? Hold on. Hey, man, I was just informed by my staff. Right, that shit was in the newspaper last week. Play. Right, you got people. The newspaper full of lies. Don't trust that shit.
Hey, like how they slid that one in just last weekend, man, about the tolls, not the tolls, but the meters downtown.
Okay, yeah.
Well, you got to pay on a Saturday now, and it's only 2 hours that you can get.
Good.
They said the business owners didn't get a chance to hear about that, didn't get a chance to speak on it, none of that shit down there.
Wow. And the weekends used to be free.
Right. They passed that shit over the weekend.
Right. Slid it right in on your ass. You would be down there talking about, hey, but it's supposed to be free on Saturday.
Man, they snuck that shit in on the business owners down there.
Yes, sir. He said
nobody hear about that.
Erica Ville said she shot the sheriff. Good luck with that one, Erica. Good luck. Godspeed, right? So long, Mel. Have a good trip. Harris said when people refer to code, they're either referring to the G code or the United Independent Compensatory Code System concept for victims of the white supremacy by Nellie Fuller Jr. Damn. Okay. I didn't know that's what it was called. I just always, when they say, when George Clinton say one nation under a groove, and see, understanding what solidarity is. I mean, what I'm really talking about here is just solidarity, right? Like, which most cultures, Mexican people have a Mexican code. Puerto Rican people have a Puerto Rican code. Chinese people have a Chinese code. You feel me? Right. We're the only ones who don't have a code. That's why no matter where you put those people, they take their customs and their culture with them, and they celebrate it, and it's intact. We got to do as the Romans do when we go to Rome. We gotta say we do what you do. You like St. Patty's Day? I like St. Patty's Day.
Perfect example. Look at Cesar Chavez over there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Where the Mexicans, where all the Hispanics at. You know what I mean? They got a code. They support each other, man. That's where you see them shopping every day. You're so busy over there in their area. You know what I mean? That's a code.
That's right. And
it's
Kamara,
an unwritten code. Like, we got to have some unwritten codes around here so we know how to fucking treat each other, man.
When you get into their community and you look up and the signs are written in their language, right?
Right.
I don't speak that, right? So I'm in there. That lets you know you over here in our turf. We got a code. We
Right.
know. We communicate with each other. Look at that. That's a light beer sign. What did it say? Light cerveza. I said, damn, what's a cerveza? So that's what they call beer, right? Um, he said, Sean Moore, I think it's East Cleveland. They just fired ABD, indicted 2/3 of their police department. Milwaukee needs that type of cleaning.
I agree.
Yeah, if you could prove them on collusion or corruption, of course.
I agree.
He said that's Bauman and Brady off ass. Um, talking about the machines. Rostov, he said that they got that pass. Well, once again, when those when those 5 individuals who had been supposedly this black majority that helped to make up this black majority common council were sitting downtown and they vacated, that's what they left you with, a vacuum at leadership, right? That's why they hit it. So when they're gone, you think the adversaries didn't look around and say, "Ooh, I'm glad they left. Now let's take care of it." Not that they was doing shit anyways, but that's another side effect of us not having leadership in place. Well, yeah, they can sneak that on you because it would have been helpful if we had uh, some representation down there to say, "Hey, y'all, this is what's going on in the Common Council. They about to vote this through." And who suffers besides you Negroes who want to go downtown and party on the weekends and go to their festivals? We're gonna charge your ass. You know how many of them gonna come down here on the weekend? It's come on, man, because a lot of people, if you work downtown and you have a parking structure that you park in, you could park in there for free on the weekend. I know places I've worked downtown, you got a parking permit. I could park there no matter Bucks game. We right around the corner. You can park here, right? So I would never have to pay a toll anyways. Um, he said Negro, that was the 70s and 80s. We got Palestinians and Hezbollah. I don't know what was the 70s and 80s? Hezbollah. Sean be firing off. It's hard for me to keep up with him sometimes. But yeah, man, it's Outlaw Radio, man. Let us know how you feel. 262-202-5131 is the number. It ain't nothing but a chicken wing. No thing but a chicken wing on a Monday night. Very cold, very snowy. But the winter is going away. Winter puts up a fight. She don't want to leave quietly. She can give you all she got until she sputters out. Spring, and then one of my favorite seasons, spring, will come. I love spring. As it starts to get warmer, all of a sudden you look around, there's leaves in the trees again, and there's birds are chirping. Right? Like, is that a fly? Oh my God, it's warm again. Don't last long in Milwaukee, but it does come. You know what I'm saying? Now, did y'all see this brother? I could say his name because he was charged. He hasn't been convicted yet, I guess, but he's been charged. Who was supposedly working with the young people who have been victims of sexual abuse and traumatized. His name is Cornelius Smith. He worked for Kids Inc. He was charged with sex crimes, sex abuse crimes against some of the kids that he was, I guess, mentoring.
Oh man.
I think I remember that.
Yeah, it was just it's in the People's News Network. People say, well, why would you bring that up? Because a lot of times we talk about this village, and I keep saying, well, we can't really do the village no more because some of the TPs is crack houses. And you got people out here who are supposed to be helping victims, and they really doing this kind of shit. Now he's working for an organization, Kids Inc., and everybody's like, we had no reason to think that he would ever do this, and he had kids who he had adopted, who had lost parents or whatever, who are grown-ups now, who've come out and made allegations that he was just really abuseful and really sexually harassing them. And some of them have said, because of the abuse I suffered at his hands, I wanted to commit suicide. And it's like, man. And so, these are the kinds of things, and this is why I keep saying that's why I don't mess with everybody. This is why I don't hitch up with every single person, everybody coming along, man. You really got to know who you rocking with. You really got to know who you out here endorsing. You be riding for the hell of it with somebody who you have no clue who they really are. And if you don't have the gift of discernment where you could tell, they say you call a spade, you really at risk. I thank God one of the things I can really do is a lot of times feel energy and vibration that a person gives off. And Kamar kind of, I've always had this, but Kamar kind of gave it a name one time, and we were having a discussion, and I was saying, well, how I feel and this and that, and when I'm around somebody and I kind of see that yellow streak or whatever, and Kamar said, well, kid, that ain't nothing but energy and vibrations. You just picking up on energy and vibrations. You gotta learn when you see it to know what it looks like. And I said, damn, I hate to let him know, but he's right. Right.
And after that, you know how to react. I mean, and after that, you know how to act. You know how to control that situation now.
Right. So if encounter with somebody, and I've worked with people who, like I said, I've worked in social services and education for about 22 years. And I've encountered people who when I met them, whatever capacity they were serving with young people or whatever position they were in, the spidey senses went off. And I said, something ain't right about that cat. Something there. I don't trust dude. So I started to look for other things to say, let me just kind of check, see how dude move or how she move. Cause I'm getting a kind of weird kind of feeling off this person. And I'm here to tell you I've rarely been wrong. As a matter of fact, it's been some high profile situations where I was around some individuals here, not gonna say their names, who have high profiles or who are very well known, and I said, no. Where everybody else was behind this person, like, yeah, I was the one saying, I'm not messing with dude. And I hate to say this, but in high school, I'm going all the way back, right? When I was a senior in high school, we had a gospel choir, right? We had a gospel choir at King, right? And there was a very popular. He wasn't our age, but he's in his early 20s, mid 20s. He was a choir director. He was a Kirk Franklin type cat, right? And so they would be rehearsing. They would be rehearsing in the school, right? After school. And like people were running, people in my school was running to join this choir, and everybody saying, man, we had such a good time. This is all positive, and man, this dude is something else. And so I just happened, just so the way things were, my locker was across from the choir room. And so we were out in the hallway one day, and we was clowning, right? Was clowning. And somebody, like, he came to the door, and I seen this little dude. Immediately, the alarm went off. Read. Something ain't right about this cat. Tries to tell me, you should come in here and you out here cussing. And I quickly gave him a Capitol Drive salad. Like, man, get the fuck up out of my face, man. You better take your ass back in that room, school out. You're not a teacher. Fuck around, get your ass kicked. You ain't gonna be able to sing with my foot in your face, right? And people's like, damn, Kev, why you talk to dude like that? You know who dude is? And I'm just like, fuck dude. I got a weird vibe off that dude. To make a long story short, sooner or later, it was found out that he was molesting several of the young people he was tutoring in choral training, even to the point where he went to jail, and one of the young men, he refused to even stop having a relationship with him. They was together years after. Even after he got out of jail, he was still messing with this dude. So I'm just saying, I've always had that where I was like, nah, man. The police came to MATC when I worked there to talk to the young people. And one of the cops, maybe it was his haircut, but I just got a weird vibe off of him. He was talking to the kids about why they should respect police and this kind of thing. It wasn't 2 weeks later that it was found out that he had been molesting his daughter since she was 4 and she was like 16. So I'm telling you, don't ignore those signs when you get them, man. Where there's fire, there's smoke, man. There's fire, there's smoke. That's all I'm saying. He said, he said, Vic keep 1 or 2 suspects on the payroll. He said, if you have to call them out, KB, to protect the village, though, bro. If not, we're allowing the pythons to babysit. I called Mike Wilder and went through the fire. Moggs didn't know I'm fireproof. I don't have to call nobody name because most of the time they're exposed now. He said, wow. Yeah, that's true. That's real spit, though. That ain't no lie. And it's been several people I've encountered where I said, and I told somebody else right when I met them, like, something ain't right about cuz. I don't like dude, something ain't right there. And boom, we found out later. Boom, like, what? And it's like, Kev, how you know? I'm like, I don't know. I just knew, right? Like, so some of us don't have that gift. So now if I do see it and I like somebody's like, okay, so if Kamar pulled up and I knew something about this individual and Kamar said, "Well, I'm about to take my daughter in here. She like coming up here." Now, knowing Kamar is my brother, I would say, "Hey, Kamar, hey, you how well you know, dude? Because you about to take your daughter up in there, man. I do kind of fuddy duddy." Now, Kamar is either gonna say, "Nah, he good, Kev. I know him," or he gonna say, "What? You bullshit. You know what? I'm gonna take my daughter and hit it then, bro. Thanks for telling me. I'm up." And so you give it. Man, listen, my daughter in third grade at Golda Meir had a teacher, and they had to go camping. It was part of they had to go, and we didn't want my wife and I didn't want my daughter to go because I was like, I don't trust that shit. And so I went to her school and talked to her teacher, and I told him face to face. I said, "Listen, this is my daughter. This is my only daughter. If something happens to her that's not supposed to happen to her, I'm not talking about an accident or she bump her head or something. I'm saying if there's any adult kind of any fuddy duddiness going on, I'm just letting you know I'm holding you responsible, and I'm coming to get you when I find out about it." And he kind of looked at me, and even my wife was like, "Damn, for real, Kevin?" And I'm like, "I'm just letting you know that's not a threat. I'm just telling you that I'm holding you responsible. I'd be damned if they didn't go to camp and he was later fired because they found out he was videotaping the little girl's feet with his phone. He had him show him his feet. I'm telling you, this is the blessing and the curse of my gift of discernment. Because when I met him, I said, "Man, ain't right about this dude." So I need to let him know that, hey man, if something happened, you know what I mean? So it's unfolded that way for me. So when I see somebody out here in this city and I see them leading a group or I see them with a movement or I see them on something, normally if I can be around that person or meet them, I'll pick up on their waves and say, "Oh, that motherfucker right there." Mm-mm. And it usually comes. And that's not wishing bad on nobody. That's just the reality of it. But that's discernment as I understand it. So, because that's what I was told by my elders a long time ago. Like, "Boy, you got a hell of a gift of discernment because you sure call that shit." So, I ain't saying I ain't never met nobody who, turned out to be a snake and I didn't know, like, "Oh man, I didn't know dude was like that." I'm saying I can pick up on those vibes. Sometimes you ignore it, right? Sometimes you say, "Man, nah, I'm straight. Nah, dude wouldn't do that or she wouldn't do that," and you end up victimized because you ignore it, right? So we got to be more aware of who we're around and who we have our kids around. Um, Paris said, "Where there's fire, there's smoke." Absolutely. How it's always somebody else. And they be lying on me. And that means people ain't lying on your ass, player. Something there, something to that. He said, "Same with them cats in the joint. In there, they say the boyfriend and think I ain't saying nothing. If I see you in the streets acting other than," he said, "I'm saying something." Okay. Yeah, I mean, sometimes I can, you make more, you give more of a statement by how you don't deal with somebody. You feel me? Instead of me calling you out, "Oh, look at this motherfucker." When people start to notice, "Hey, why you don't fuck with dude? Why you don't fuck with dude?" And then I can say, "Well, it's just my personal opinion, cuz this is why." Because I've had that happen, and people come back and say, "Dog, you said that shit. Dude, you told me that shit." I'm like, man, I just had that feeling. I just had that feeling. What else we got? What else we got for tonight? Y'all let me know too if y'all got something y'all want to throw in there. Because we just went over, we just had a weekend where you may have picked up on something or seen something in the media that caught your attention, and you said, "I'm gonna talk about this shit on the show." Kev, shut
That
the
was
fuck up.
it. What I just mentioned a little while ago about
Okay.
how they slipped that shit in on the business owners down there.
About the parking
Yeah,
on the
you know
weekend.
what I mean. That affect all type of shit. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah, that's wild.
The Bucks game lasts 3 hours. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And if you only got 2 hours on the meter, what that mean?
And how much
Damn.
does it cost to park in a structure?
About $20.
Oh shit.
Maybe
Okay.
more
Oh,
than
there you
that,
go.
depending on what
That's
structure you go in. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you either gonna with that. What I feel like they want you to do is pay for the parking in the structure.
yeah, that's probably the intention, to pay for the convenience and not having to get out your chair to feed the meter in between the game and shit.
Right. Or whatever it is you're doing down there. You
Yeah,
know
but
what I'm saying? Some
it's
people
so
go downtown and just move around downtown doing a bunch of different shit. Like
right.
at the Grand now, it's different. It ain't just the mall no more. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
all type of shit in the Grand. You go in there, Move around and hang out, kick it, play darts here, shoot pool over there, have some drinks
Oh,
over
word?
here, eat over here. Man, it's live down there.
I thought it was just apartments and shit now in the Grand.
Man, go down there, man. It's a whole adult amusement park type shit in the
Oh,
Grand.
okay.
Man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, you going down there to hang out, you're gonna be in there more than 2 hours.
Mm.
So the fact that somebody somewhere should have spoken against this, but you have to understand too, Milwaukee is a city in desperate need of revenue, because when the people who use this city for its attractions can come in and get out, and their taxes normally won't go to the city, they take their money to whatever subdivision or suburb they live in, and that's where they pay, and then they come downtown Milwaukee, have a good time, and be out. So the people who here are poor. You got a city with over half the population is poor, right? So yeah, you ain't getting the revenue you should, because people ain't working like they should. So yeah, charge them to park their cars. Charge them. That's why you got a wheel tax and a luxury tax and a
Hey, look,
cigarette
and you know
tax.
that's another additive to how they create gentrification. Also,
That's right. They can't afford to park.
make us feel like make a lot of us feel like what, fuck going down there. Can't even park down there. You know what I'm saying? So now they really don't even want to be where they at. More willing to sell it. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
That has to change.
It's just one of them additives, I think, that they throw in, you know what I mean, to upset a motherfucker even more, to not even want to be there.
Because
even though
Lamar,
they
you know
get
what?
kicked out anyway.
There's a lot of rich benefactors who all they really own is parking lots downtown.
Yeah.
So
Shit,
now
I know I want some parking lots, man.
So now only $5-7 to park here, right? And so their money's gonna go up now, because now people like, I ain't got to pay the meter, so I ain't got to park. It's summertime. I'll just get off and get it. So yeah, man, the rich get rich and the poor get poor, and the poor never say nothing because they be like, my vote don't matter, dumbass. Yeah, you still think your vote don't matter? That's what you got down there, right? Let me see the chat room. Sean Moore said if they detrimental to common unity, fuck them. She said, Mama Jenkins said, call a buzzer to buzzer. Absolutely. Ewok said you usually see the smoke before the fire, bro. Either way, though. Tolot, here you come. Sean, that's right.
Right, man.
Here you come. Got to get back to this book. Holla at y'all.
You know
Go ahead,
what,
Sean.
though?
Send it to us.
Just that little bit of information right there, it's like you could either be impacted by it or you could learn to ride the wave. Because just that little bit of information will make me want to go ahead and grab a cheap little tow truck and contract with the city to be yanking nigga shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about the ability to adapt to the opportunity.
Hey, and cause see, and that ain't sounding funny, cause see, in the future, you're gonna be pulling out they shit. You're gonna be pulling they shit, not nigga shit. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I'm just talking about whoever fucking up at the meter. You know,
right.
I remember there was an old news segment when they were showing how tow truck people was yanking people's shit before the meter even ran out, just to get that. Man, that shit is wild when money get is incentivized.
We missing the point. It ain't really about the tow trucks. It's about the city being able to give you tickets. You only get towed when you got so many tickets. So they're not gonna tow your shit. They're gonna ticket you. And look, one of the most beautiful things that I ever discovered was off the street parking. I will never live in a house ever again that doesn't have a driveway. Man, when I used to have to park on the street and you got to move the car from one side to another and you forget and go to sleep, and then you forget about the ticket, the motherfucker go from 15 to 35 at the end of the year. You got $500 worth of tickets.
Man,
that is a crock of shit. Once we got a house with a driveway, my wife and I both agree we ain't never living nowhere with on the street parking again. And we never have again. You got to have a driveway. Listen, that permit shit's bullshit. So yeah, Milwaukee kill you with that.
I remember when I was 16 and bought my first car and shit. I bought a 88 Corsica. But anyway, I was feeling good, but now I got to park on the street, and we lived off of 87th and Hampton. It's all Barada apartments now, but. I used to park, and the first night, No, the first week I ain't getting no tickets. You know, I'm not switching sides, none of that shit, because I didn't know this is my first car. You know, my parents parked in the back in their parking spots, so I started getting tickets. So then I'm like, hey, I'm getting tickets. They like, oh, you know, you got to switch sides on different days of the week. So I'm doing that. I get a ticket. They like, oh, you know, you're supposed to have a parking permit
Right.
before you switch sides every day of the week. I'm like, okay, cool. So now it's about December and shit. I'm getting more tickets, and I'm like, where do you want me to park? You know, I wrote in the snow, where do I park on my window for the next time they see to give me a ticket. And they put something on my car that showed that, like, in Milwaukee during snow emergencies, you can't park on any main street. You got to park on the side street. I didn't know. So it's like, man, I got like 3 or 4 tickets just learning the parking rules.
I tell you what, the worst one was when you get a permit and either you don't move your car and you still get a ticket, or you got it on the right side and your permit's expired, so you still get a ticket. Like it's such a fucking and
they
this
just
is
run
kinda,
it up off of us,
right.
man. They it's just they predatory on the poor, man.
That's right, because
They the
once
mafia,
again,
man.
you
It's the
don't
mafia.
Right.
You know
we
what I
ain't
mean?
generating that,
Hey,
we ain't
man, this shit
generating no
crazy, dog.
revenue.
Dig this. Hey, dig this, right? You go to work. You go to work, you get paid. They take taxes out your shit. You know what I mean? You go home. You decide you want a car. You go buy a car. Charge your taxes home. You know what I'm saying? And then you got to take your car home. If you ain't got no garage or driveway, you got to park it on this street. Now, in order to park it on this street, you got to go buy this permit. So if you go buy this permit and you get 2 tickets, we can take your car that you bought and paid all them taxes for, that we took money out of your check. Man, this shit is goddamn.
The wheel tax, all
You
that,
forgot
all the
about plates.
taxes.
You got to buy plates
Right.
and
Yeah,
tags
the plates and shit. The tax on
and
that shit.
tags, and you got to have insurance, and you have to have
Right.
insurance. Like, come on, man.
Right.
You got to pay to play, man. You got to pay to
You gotta
play.
do the emission test. If you
Come
can't
on, man.
pass the emission test, you can't re-register your
You got to
shit. So
change
now
the
you
oil on the car. You still got to maintenance the goddamn car. And you
Right.
still got to buy you something to eat. You
God
can't eat, you gotta eat, goddammit. This shit
damn
is
it, I'm hungry
expensive.
now.
Man.
Let me see. Mama Jenkins said, "Fuck them Bucks owners and watch the millionaires play on TV in the comfort of your own home." She said, "I stopped going to the game years ago, and I used to be a season ticket holder. You know what? Because I don't like large crowds. I've taken my son to a Bucks game because I think, you know, that's a good time for a kid to be able to go. And I know he loves basketball, so I took him to a game. But it wasn't even. It was in the Bradley Center, so this was about 8 years ago. But I'm not really a person to go to live venues myself. Like I
Right,
wouldn't want to
right.
go to Lambeau Field to watch a game. I enjoy watching this shit on TV. I don't want to be around that many people around me. I don't like that many people around me. Like I don't.
Right.
If I'm ever in anywhere and it's packed in like that, I'm gonna say, man, I'm finna go, man. I can't take this shit. It's just
See,
too
I don't
much.
like loud noise. Like whether you hollering because you mad or you hollering because you excited, you hollering. And I don't like loud noise. Like the one time, and plus, the sports I like is like wrestling and combat sports. So the one time I did go to a basketball game, my lady was working for a travel agency, and she won some tickets. So we went down there and we was in the skybox with the food and the bar and shit. I was like, oh, this live. I can do this shit because it was
Right.
ducked off and everything. But otherwise, amongst everybody else in the noise, nah, ain't my thing.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah,
can
I'll
do
do
it
that
like
box
that.
again.
If we
Yeah, that
had
box
a
was
a
nice.
separate entrance and we can go in the elevator up to our suite.
Oh, it was nice,
Yeah,
man.
but all
That
this you
shit
sitting
was.
up in the 67th row and all that shit, you miss me with that shit.
Hey, I'm different. Kind of different, right? I like going to the shit, and the thing
Yeah.
is, while I'm there, I don't like being so close to people, but I like being there. But I can only give them a few hours, just like you know what I mean.
I feel you.
That my energy took. I come home.
It drains you. Yeah.
Come home and go right the fuck to sleep.
You right, Mama Jenkins. She said some motherfucker gonna get shot fucking with these dudes' cars. Y'all know you don't fuck with a man's ride. We've had parking checkers here get stabbed and shot, and It's happened before.
Man.
People be like, man, leave my shit alone. I know I had my brother in a parking meter. Like I had to really like drag my brother physically away from. He's about to go to prison because he was trying to move his car, and the dude was still like, nah, man, I gotta tow your shit. And he's just like, man, but I got hip to him. Like, I could tell when they put the mark where they, marking your shit for leave it to get towed, then
Uh-huh.
we go out and move our shit, go park it on the
Yeah.
next block over or something, and then they'll miss you. But yeah, it used to be a game to play with them parking on the street. That shit used to be sucky. Ernest Walker said Ja's losing his Powerade contract. He's talking about Ja Morant. You know what? At this
Uh-huh.
point, Ja Morant doesn't need a Powerade contract. Right now, Ja Morant, did you, they released this footage of him from the VIP room of the night when he allegedly had the gun. Did y'all see this video?
Nah, I didn't see.
It's crazy. It's first of all, they left out did $350,000, something like that. He his money on the floor. It's literally the whole room is covered with money. This dude is walking around with no shirt on. He had plates of food, and like I guess they said his thing is Hennessy and like expensive tequila or whatever. And so yeah, he needed timeout. Ja got to sit down. And once again, I'm not. This was the thing. People get it twisted. I'm not. I would never tear that young man down. I would never go in on him for doing what young men do, which is wild the fuck out. If I told you some details of some parties that I've been to when I was in college and I played ball, and it was just us kicking it, and we had, we celebrating the bowl game or whatever, and some girls come through and we kicking it. It was wild, and it was shit. And just like, why would y'all be kicking it like that with them girls or whatever? But that's what young men do, right? So I'm not tearing him down, but what I would try to do for him is offer him some wisdom. And I think I like what and I rarely agree with Shaquille O'Neal, right? But I thought what Shaquille O'Neal said to him was like, we got to stop giving them power to take away things we work so hard to get. And what I liked about it is because we've said on this show many times, how much do we actually give away versus what's taken from us? So he said, as much as we want to say it's a setup or whatever, he chose to go live. He hit the live button on his Instagram
Yeah.
for this. But it's
Right.
good because now all kinds of incidents where he's been in a whole bunch of crazy situations is coming out. I'm just hoping this young brother gets his mind right because he is a hell of a basketball player. But this is once again proof that because you're a great athlete or a great rapper or a great actor, it doesn't mean your character is in order. It doesn't mean your mind is in the right place, right? And so now, what is it about strippers? Because for me personally, if you had that much money, if you have that much money, you should be able to have a nice selection of women who are not strippers that you can invite to whatever location or mansion you have and say, hey, let's have some fun. I don't know what it is about going in a strip club, wasting $350,000 on strippers. I guess they got to eat too. And I'm shout out to all the strippers. I'm not shitting on strippers, but I'm saying, wouldn't it be better to just say, hey, I just get a bunch of women and y'all just come on back to the crib and we'll kick it and have a good time. Or you have somebody who you pay. You got $350,000 to throw up in the air. You got money to say, hey, I want you to be my party promoter. So what I'm gonna do is I want you to set up a venue for me, bi-weekly or whatever. And it's just a place that we can go, me and my friends, and kick back and do what we do. I always hear Michael Irvin talk about when he played for the Dallas Cowboys that they had the White House, which was a mansion that they all as players had rented out, and that was where they went to party. That's where everything went down at, right? And so, he said it was eventually ruined because certain cats started telling their wives, and the wives started knowing about it, and it became common knowledge. But for so long, it was their spot. We're off the street, because if you got millions of dollars, you're a target. So now you need to carry a pistol. If I'm in my house with security and we kicking it, I don't need a pistol. I don't have to wear it now. If I'm going out to the strip club somewhere and who knows where, yeah, I probably need a pistol. But see, this is what I'm saying. Now people say he was on the road. Well, you get the schedule beforehand. You have enough money.
How about nigga, you grown? Sit your motherfucking ass down. Do that shit during the off season.
There you go, Kamar. There you go. There you go, man. I mean, yeah. Why? But you know that ain't any young man. You know how you sowing your roll, you sowing your oats, man. You out here,
You
you
know,
just
hey, somebody done told him that shit before.
and
The coaches done
obviously it
told
didn't
him,
resonate.
hey, when we get to these towns, man, you probably don't want to be getting out in these cities and doing shit. I'm sure he done heard the shit before. You
Yeah,
know
you
what I'm saying?
gotta
I'm
have
sure he
discipline.
done heard other NBA legends telling him, like, look, man, be a professional about your shit. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
that's true.
saying? He done heard it, so he know better.
And how many of them have told him, bro, it ain't about what you do, it's how you do it. You think we didn't do this back in the days? You
Yeah,
think we
right.
didn't go, but we did it in a way where people never knew about it,
Right.
right? You're on Instagram, you got your
Unfortunately,
phone,
they got social media now.
and he's the one who went, you did it to yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
You did it, right? And so people are like, oh, the strip club has sold the footage because they got cameras. So the strip club sold the footage of it. Okay, so but he went live on Instagram. So do it matter? It don't matter.
So what if they
Let me
just
see.
supposed to sell the footage? Shit, what strip clubs do? They give money. The
Well,
fuck
they
you
got to
thought they was
protect
gonna do?
themselves. Dion said he had a small ass gun. Well, you know, with technology now, you can get a damn 10 millimeter that's the size of what we used to little 380 we used to talk about. You can get big caliber with a small pistol now.
It
You
don't
got some
matter if it was
45s that ain't
small
but
or
this
big.
big.
That's
That
neither
mother gonna
here.
jump.
That's neither here nor there. You know what I'm saying? The thing is, it was a dumbass decision.
Very dumb. And that you do that. I've made some decisions that was dumb as hell, but I had to pay for them. And I
Yep.
did. And Kamar, I know you understand. You made
Yep.
some bad decisions. You got to pay for them, right?
Oh
And
yeah.
so you got to sit it out. Let me see. Mama Jenkins said in Chicago, the punks put a boot on your shit. You ain't moving. Yeah, it won't be surprising me if they don't bring them boots here. That's gonna be fucked up. That's gonna be fucked up if they bring them to Milwaukee. Dion said he needed someone to guide him and do something good with his money instead of blowing it. Well, he got so much and he's so young, so it's like, dude,
Yeah,
you
you definitely
you
need
got
that.
so much.
Hey,
Like we,
you know, the thing is, he the boss.
that's right.
He got to allow that. It's got
Everybody
to be
around him,
somebody in
nobody's
his
saying
life.
no to him.
It's got to be somebody in his life, you know what I'm saying, who he can trust. That's gonna tell him freeze that shit, man, and he really stop and listen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, he
And he
got
got a mom, his mom and his dad are there, but I mean, you know, they're all, let's be honest, he's changed the trajectory of their family. So who around him says no to him right now? And you know,
exactly.
and I'm sure his dad may say, what y'all don't understand is I've talked to this boy a million times. I mean, he's a grown man. What can I control him? He got 50, 60 million dollars at his disposal on any given day with about 100 more coming. But now, so when he loses endorsements and that money starts to go away, hopefully this will make him say, all right, dog, I'm tripping. Because sometimes you have to, you know, it's just like I said, this weekend, I had to sit your ass down. My body said, hey, man, hey, you doing too much. Sit down. Sometimes things have to happen where you say, hold on, man, let me sit down and chill for a minute. And then when you sit and think, you say, damn, this shit done got out of control. I need to handle this, man. I got to come up with something. Maybe this is what need to happen. I don't know him personally, so I don't know what his personality is, but hopefully, because like I said, man, the brother is ridiculously talented on the basketball court. It don't even make sense. And in terms of creating generational wealth and making sure his family never suffers again, he can do that. He has a chance to do that. Mama Jenkins said, just get some freaks. There's plenty of them out here. That's what I'm saying. I don't understand why you. What is the thing with me going into a strip club throwing $350,000 or $50,000? If I got that kind of money,
Ego.
and I'm more worried about if I got that kind of money, even as a youngster, I would have been more worried about people's access to me. So I don't want certain people around to tell what happened or to take something. Like, you know, man, I woke up, I don't know what happened to my Rolex. Because you was out with some motherfuckers you shouldn't have been around. Somebody that you was drunk, passed out. It's more important for you to be safe. So I don't understand. I guess that's a young dude thing. Like, you know, go in the strip club and throw. I mean, if I had
Ego,
$350,000 to
man.
waste, I wouldn't waste it in the strip club. Even when I was young, I wouldn't have wasted it in the strip club. You know?
It's that ego. You know what I mean? And that
Yeah.
false sense of power. You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
he get. You know what I mean? The way the women look at him. I mean, man, you gotta look at it, right? Like them athletes, a lot of the time, man. A lot of the time they going through training their whole life. They training for the league, they training for basketball their whole life. So they never really get a chance to get around women. They never get a chance to have friends, to have interaction with society. You know what I'm saying? So then now it's like an ego thing. Like I'm untouchable. I'm the man. And you know what I'm saying?
And you're also very awkward.
Yeah, and I think, you know what I mean, a lot of the time they snap out of that shit too, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, age is the great equalizer. Listen, I'm telling you, I understand him. I wasn't a pro athlete, but I understand the mentality of youngsters when all of that testosterone is kind of bottled up, and you got practice and you got all this stuff you got to do all the time. And then they say, okay, y'all free to party tonight. Man, I've been at some parties where it's like, whoa, we are on the line here. Like this is like, and I'm not talking about nothing like rape or nothing like that. I'm saying just brothers doing dumb shit. Like, I bet you I can jump off this top porch and land and jump off and break his damn ankle or some shit or whatever, man. Let's see who can hold this lighter under their hand the longest. Like, I guess because I party with football players, so we do shit like that. Like, drill a hole in a can of beer and see who can hold the beer and drink it until he can't no more. Like dumb shit like that. Like, So, but yeah, we was young though. The young men were just trying to blowing that energy that you have, that vigor that you have. Like, man, we gotta try to do this, try to get this off tonight, man. So yeah, I understand, but it's wrong and it needs guidance, and somebody has to pull you aside eventually because, like I said, fortunately enough, we had coaches or people who were around to say, hey man, y'all tripping. That the little thing y'all did last Saturday night, y'all is on the borderline right now, man. Word done got out or whatever, or two people went to jail or somebody got caught with something that they shouldn't have been doing. Like, it's always somebody to reel us in and say, look, we're gonna have a meeting on Monday morning. I want everybody in the meeting, right? I'm gonna sit your ass down and tell y'all, you motherfuckers right now is walking on a thin line, right? I heard about Saturday night type shit. So you gotta have that guidance, man. You gotta have the guidance, man. You're right, Ernest. This is what I've heard. He said his mama called him to a mall to fight a young dude. Who said something disrespectful to her. He said she's stupid too. And his dad is normally at the games. I've seen people criticizing his dad, saying he out getting drunk, he enjoying the spotlight a little bit too much. He's an enabler. But a lot of people just be talking shit. I mean, you don't know what that man is saying to his son behind closed doors. And should he not enjoy the spoils and say, man, because I guess he trained his sons, and he's another kind of LeVar Ball type of dude where he invested into his sons and they made it. So you got to still be a father though, man. You got to still be a father though. You still have to, you got to, and if you haven't been, you got to get on your boy and say, son, listen, let's talk, man. You ain't got to play ball for the next few weeks. Let's get on the plane. Let's go to Hawaii or somewhere to some resort and just kick back and let's talk, man. Because this is scary. Like, this should even be scary for his dad that he's drunk. And once guns get involved, the whole situation changes, man. Me and my partners had a good time when I was young, and as long as it was drinking and smoking and everybody was kicking it, it was fun and games. The minute guns got involved, nothing was ever the same. Nothing was ever the same. So once the guns get involved, it's hard to roll your sleeves back down. He said, Deion said, look what happened to Deshaun Watson. Yeah, once again, you got to think for people who are like massage therapists. Like, these brothers have obviously never been around women. Like, what's up with y'all, man?
Straight up. And that's what it be a lot of the time, man. So now when you got all this money and women just around at the disposal, they start feeling like they could do what the fuck they want to do a lot of the time. You know what I mean? You can't say no to me.
Mama Jenkins is an outlaw for real. She said, plus you don't want no trick playing with your balls the wrong way. So get you a professional call girl and make it do what it do and put your ass to sleep. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, Mama Jenkins, right? Yep. And we know nowadays, she might be a he, and you might wake up to him instead of her, and he be like, "We had a good time last night, y'all." Like what? Now you, where my gun at? Let me stop for somebody to say we being trans. Look, people were still commenting on that, and I seen a young lady, the show we did with the whole transgender argument, and she was on there like, "Yeah, I hear transphobic energy all around this show." I was tripping off the shit. Like, really?
Damn.
Crazy. It was crazy.
They watched the whole time.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Because somebody must have said you need to listen to what they saying, and she said I'm listening, and I feel transphobic energy. Okay, but we said anybody whatever you say on Outlaw Radio, you right. So maybe it was. I'm not. I don't know. I don't have a censor. That ain't included in
it
my
was
discernment.
not, Kevin. We ain't got to take that. It was not. That
Okay.
was not true. The one time ever in Outlaw Radio where something was not true, it was that time.
The one time, right? The one time somebody was wrong. Okay, I can take that.
Fuck
You
that,
right.
man. I ain't taking that, man, because
I
we ain't
went,
mean no harm that day.
I went back to read some of the comments just for a laugh and shit. And I seen dude call me Dusty Dreads, and I'm like, I was like, I got locks. Like, you think I would care? Like, my locks not dusty, but I got locks. You think?
Yeah, he went in on all of us, though.
The reason of them is to not care about the westernized, standards of beauty and shit.
Yeah, he went in on all of us, though. He called all of it because he said
I was cracking
he
up.
said
like,
I was on the
damn.
DL, right? Like he was like,
Yeah,
it was crazy.
It was, I mean, that part was funny, but I don't want to make light of his pain. He was going through some shit. The only concerning thing is the brother said that he was a social worker that helped other kids, but lacked conflict resolution skills and emotional intelligence.
Right.
So that was my only. I didn't give a fuck about Dusty Braids. My thing was, is these the kind of motherfuckers that's supposed to be helping these children?
Right.
But I don't want to make light of his pain, because when you are hurt, when you in your feelings, you ain't in your head. When you're in your chest, you ain't logical at all. So
yeah.
But that Dusty Dread shit had me cracking up for a few joint hits.
Yeah, well, he was, or she was dissing Courtney, which sounded like, well, she's a female. Like what? So it was wild. But it's good, man. Everything happens for a reason. I hope that helped him or her, or however he identifies. I hope that helped him get something off his chest, right? Because I don't know if any other platforms was even having that discussion. And so maybe the value in that was he was able to vent, and maybe he could say, man, I call them motherfuckers and let them know what was going on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so that's beneficial for him. So,
there's always a positive that can come.
Right.
He can have that.
Right. Whatever works. Dion says it's a lot of greats that self-destructed. Look at R. Kelly. Yes, many of them. Fame and fortune, man. I keep hearing people say it ain't what you think it is. And people are like, shit, I make that decision when I get it. But so many celebrities have the worst lives, and they say, dude, it's not what I thought it would be. I thought it was going to be all good. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, it's fun. It's good to have money, but it's so much that comes with it. It's good to be a celebrity, but it's so much that comes with it. Paris LaShawn said that show was off the chain. It's just one of many classic Outlaw radios, man. It goes into the hall. Like, we've had so many where shit got real. And somebody got some blood on them, as they say. Mama Jenkins said, "Got problems, can't handle the truth." A few good men. Dion said he wasn't finna argue with a homosexual. That shit was funny as fuck. Dion was lighting it. He was sparking it.
He's on fire.
Dion was in the chat room on some real. Dion was not playing that night. His comments and the way he was going at him was just, I was like, dude, this is crazy. By the time he got done arguing with Dion and then hearing what we were saying, he probably blew his wig when he got off the show. Notice I said wig. I was trying to give him some support. Okay, whatever. He said, remember Ray Caruth? I absolutely do. Ray Caruth, a perfect example of that money and that fame. Dion said, I can't take a man seriously that think he's a woman. Damn, that was that kind of fire Dion was dropping.
That's some real shit right there.
Yeah.
How can you take a man seriously if he don't think he's a man?
Boy, but I see.
Hey, that's some real shit, Dion. You on to something right there.
Hey, you right. I told you anytime you say something on Outlaw Radio, your ass is right. Here was a funny one. Because I was going to talk about Chris Rock some more because that fallout is still coming. But a lot of this stuff is just something to talk about. Like, so tonight we had some very important conversations. We started out talking about the natural course of nature, and we talked about the role that plants play in our environment, and the fact that plants take carbon monoxide and produce oxygen, and you need plants to survive. If there's no plants or trees, we can't survive. And we think that we are ruling over these plants that live longer than us, when the whole time they really feeding us and fattening us up. So when we die, they will have some food that they can live hundreds of more years off of. That was very poignant. We had some conversations about the opioid addiction. That was very poignant, very, very deep conversation, very philosophical conversation. We talked about, the settlement money that was given for that. We talked about knowing, picking up on people's energy and vibrations. And we throw in some shit. Like we talk about Charleston White. Really ain't a conversation you need to have, but it's worth talking about. And so I was looking at the Oscars. And so people were upset because Angela Bassett lost to Jamie Lee Curtis. She didn't get an Oscar last night. Listen, man, we live in a whole different world. Tyler Perry just bought VH1 and BET, right? There's more black billionaires and black millionaires than there's ever been in
We
this
on our
country.
way, goddammit.
Why are we still hoping, wishing, praying, crying to go to their shows and get recognized by them? Why are we still, it's 20 motherfucking 23, and we still sad? It's snubbed at the Oscars. I didn't get a Grammy. I didn't get, fuck their award shows. When I say they, I mean the powers that be, status quo, pedophilia, Illuminati, Hollywood, and the entertainment industry as a whole. As much art and culture as we produce, as much art and culture as we influence and innovate, we still go to them and say, recognize me, boss. I did good. Was I not the best dancer last year? You gonna pick your people to be a better dancer than me? I'm so sad. That's giving away power. That's not taking it back. Listen, fuck the Oscars. Fuck the Grammys. Fuck the American Music Awards. Fuck the NAACP. The NAACP gave an image award to P Valley. These award shows ain't about shit. Anything that ain't people's choice does not matter, because guess what? The people are the ones who have to buy your records, stream your music, buy your movie tickets, go to the store and buy your whatever you selling. You don't give a shit about what we think. You care about the Oscars. Fuck the Oscars. She shouldn't even been there. I feel like, and you watch the progression, because even our artists, they'll get to the point where they stop even coming to award ceremonies that are more grassroots, right? So like all of a sudden, a lot of premium black celebrities, A-list as they call them, won't come to the BET Awards, even though we know who owns Viacom and whatnot, but they won't come to that. But let them goddamn Oscars come. They asses is on the red carpet. But wait, you won't go to the BET Awards where they giving you 5 awards, but you'll go to the Oscars where you ain't even get nominated? Come on, man. Stop it. Enough with
rappers a long time ago, I mean, they should have been on board. Like rappers a long time ago told them, man, fuck y'all awards. Fuck y'all Oscars, fuck y'all Emmys, fuck all y'all shit. You know what I mean? We don't need your motherfucking approval.
right.
I mean, I feel like the approval is the check.
There you go. That's just right. We approve, motherfucker. You got a Lambo, and you got a bunch of poor people that's buying you, that's paying for you. Right. So I mean, you think about the average consumer of a lot of these entertainers is somebody that's very poor, because usually people who got money ain't really riding with that shit. Like, I'm not streaming shit. I'm not spending that money on that shit. Young people do that shit. Mama Jenkins said Dion was on fire. She said I had to go back and listen to that show again. I was cracking the fuck up. It was hilarious. Hilarious. It was hilarious. It was classic. It's one of them shows that make me. It's one of those shows where I probably before the show because I get a lot of times. I'm telling y'all, I get frustrated. I'm gonna tell y'all why. I get frustrated because I see people in Milwaukee doing a lot of things, and either they suck at it and they shouldn't even have the opportunity, or they doing it and they don't even acknowledge us. And I'm just like anybody else. Give me some recognition, because for me to get approval from the people is more important. And this is what gets me over that hump every time. When somebody donates or buys apparel or whatever, and then I say, you know what? I don't need to be recognized by them motherfuckers, because I got a connection to real people in the community, people who really support really solid people. And so that's where we need to get to as well. But that's one of them shows where I was frustrated and I'm like, man, I get so tired of this. But then when you go through a show like that and it's so lit and you have so much fun and people get so much off their chest, you say, that's why we do this shit. That's why we do this shit. Like you feel I felt a sense of satisfaction. My phone was lit up after the show. Like 2 days later, I had people calling me and I said, well, that's why you do this shit, man. Because if nobody was reacting to what we was doing, then that must mean we ain't doing shit. Right? Like, so the fact that it can trigger people to say, it must be something there. We just said earlier in the show, where there's smoke, there's fire, and it's definitely some fire on this motherfucker. So, tell a friend to tell a friend. That's a shameless plug for the show. Share the show. Share the show. Dion says, more money, more problems. I just think if you got a good job, people think you got money, and every time you turn around, people want to borrow your money. Well, you rarely get people, like, you don't usually get a mass of people following you or around you unless they want something from you. You think about it. That's why when you broke, who you got around you? When you ain't got shit, you ain't got no friends. When you get a little something, oh shit, I'm around a bunch of people. It's natural for people to want something from you. Sometimes people just want the knowledge. It don't even got to be loan me some money. They just want to pick your brain. Dog, I just want to know how you did this shit. Because I want to do it. So, but it's still
everybody's seeking happiness. And if you doing something and you look happy, man, they want to know what it is you doing.
Right.
You know what I mean? How can I be happy? How can I be that? So a lot of the time, that's exactly what it is, kid.
He said, what that nigga drinking? I want what he drinking.
Straight up. You know what I'm saying?
Give me a bottle of that shit.
I want some vitality too.
Shit. Right. Why not? Right? People drink it and be happy. Happy juice. He said, to hell with the Hollywood Grammys. Hollyweird Grammys. To hell with the Oscars. Dion said, we need validation from white people. That's very sad. And the fact that you said need. Right? Like, it's very sad, man. It says a lot about us that in this day, and when we always talk about woke and I'm spiritual and I'm conscious and I'm black and grand rising and queens and kings and we so powerful and we're so phenomenal. Damn, I didn't get an Oscar. It don't even make sense. It don't even make sense. Which one is it? That man say, is you is or is you ain't my baby. Right?
It makes sense when you understand that people are programmed. I mean, you got. I mean, we say it all the time, but then, like I was talking to my lady the other day, just talking about how you got to think for a black kid or a black American kid, when you growing up, you deal with your family, so you seeing black people. But when you do see white people, if you don't interact with them daily, you see them on TV as the elite, prestigious stars. You see them in church as the person you need to pray to and accept in your heart in white Jesus. And then you see them as a child as Santa Claus who you need to appease to get on his good list. So when you look at it from shit like that, you program kids through subconscious shit, association and repetition. All throughout our lives, we grew up knowing we better not shout, better not pout, otherwise Santa Claus ain't gonna gift us. Or if we fuck up and sin, white Jesus ain't gonna forgive us. So we programmed to seek their approval and forgiveness and shit like that.
I understand that, real. I understand, but I'm saying we're supposed to be this, like, I feel like we're supposed to be this greatly informed, like our generation, we're supposed to be informed, right? We're supposed to be enlightened. We are supposed to be knowledgeable about the light, right? But we fall for the same okey doke shit. So now,
Yeah.
Dion said Jill Biden gave a man the Woman of the Year award. Yeah, that shit like
Yeah.
that happens all the time. That's some Holly weird shit. We know that. Um, Ernest says she put in Denzel type of work. You got to at least understand her lifetime of dedication. They fucked her for what's love too. Well, then she should know by now. Like you would have think after that she would have just stopped coming.
Well,
You know
what
what I'm
did Jamie
saying?
Lee Curtis win for? Do they
I,
say the
I didn't.
movie she won
It
for?
wasn't. It was from the clips I seen of her in Black Panther. The way she acted and the way she spoke was very passionate and eloquent. Versus, I think Jamie Lee Curtis did some comedy shit, some comedic. From what I seen, it was some comedic shit. I don't know.
Okay.
So,
Goofy
and
ass
I
shit.
understand that, but okay. So, if she's in this position, why? And I didn't hear her statement yet, so I'm speaking without even knowing if she spoke. On her own behalf, but I would think she would come out and say, well, see, what I want to tell my people is don't let this discourage you from trying. And this is also why we as a people need to pool our resources and recognize our own achievements and be happy about that, because you see that even on the level that we've done this, we still get snubbed. I felt like that was a moment that she could have used to teach those coming behind her to stop that programming, to say to all you little black girls or to all you little black boys out there watching TV, this is why you shouldn't have an inferiority complex and aspire to them, because just like they'll build you up, they'll tear you down. You need to turn that love inward. We need to have a greater appreciation for ourselves and not desire recognition from these types of people. I'm a living example of it. I would hope she would have utilized it to do something like that, and maybe she will. I don't know. He said the award makes the check larger too. Well, that's not necessarily
Right.
true. Well, I guess it does make your
I mean,
asking price more.
shit, I used to hear Juicy J them holler out that Academy Award winners before all that songs and
Yeah.
shit. Now,
It
Yeah, but
definitely
you know
do make
what?
the check. It definitely make the check bigger.
Yeah, but they sold less records. They
Award
made less
winners.
music. They made less music after they won that than they did before. They didn't. They musical output went all the way down. What have they done since then?
If
Besides a
Terry
verse?
J did, hey, if they didn't
I
make
think they
that
started
movie, they
producing
would
and
have never
writing
got it.
for.
Say that again, Kumar.
Said if they didn't make that movie, they'd have never got one.
Well, it was the soundtrack. They didn't make the movie. They just got an award for the song.
Well, you need a movie to make a soundtrack.
Right, but I'm saying, what have they done since then? If it makes the check bigger, I seem like they broke up
Exactly
after
that too. That too. I'm just saying they'd have never got one if it wasn't for that movie.
Right.
They started.
Exactly.
I think
They
after that, that's when they started writing and producing for a lot of pop people, and then like even Juicy J was on a lot of well, not a lot, but I remember he was on that Katy Perry song. But
He was with
you know,
Miley Cyrus.
That kind of allowed them to cross over and get that other money. You know what I'm saying?
I'd like to know what they done though. I mean, Juicy still stayed popular, but I'm talking about the group. Like,
oh, you talking about the group?
Yeah, what it didn't. Listen, Monique after she got hers, she ended up getting blackballed. Look, Jamie Foxx after he got his, he hasn't had anything. He's had a bunch of movies. I like Jamie Foxx. He's had a bunch of movies, but Holly Berry hasn't made a successful movie since she got banged out by Billy Bob to get one. Right? Like, so, Denzel is probably the only one who's had hit movies after that. It really doesn't guarantee, especially as a black actor or actress, it really doesn't guarantee you. Like for white people, it takes them into the stratosphere and I'm an award-winning actor. Black people be broke the next summer. Like, I can't get in a damn movie. They say I'm difficult, right? Like, it's like,
I mean, it's probably like one of them shits like in high school where some shit that don't make sense to us is valuable within this social group or this demographic. Maybe amongst other, movie stars and shit like that is pretty prestigious and allow them to move a certain way or have a certain kind of clout.
Okay. There's something going on. Something in the water. Mama Jenkins said because motherfuckers have crushed their brains up. She said, I said they got dressed up for what? Yeah, it's a whole, but we do it every year. Like, this ain't new. We done this year in and year out, only to say they fucked us. It's like, dude, when you gonna learn? Like, just know. You know, it would have been cool as fuck if she didn't show up and they said she won and she was via satellite from somewhere where she was hosting a gala or a party with a bunch of other black people and accepted her award there. Because if she got snubbed, then they could have interviewed her at the party and say, that's why I'm not there. That's why I'm here with these people. Because they fuck us over there. But we just, every time we try to be, I want to be your friend. Please, it's the same thing. It's the same thing with integration. Please let me eat at your restaurant. Please let me live in your neighborhood. Please let me go to your school. Please, please, please. Meanwhile, our shit goes out of business.
That's why
and they fucking you over. What you say?
I said, and that's why our code is important. You know what I mean? So we should know not to go to certain shit. We know they ain't fucking with us. We don't have to say it. We just know it.
That code. There you go. I like the way you brought that back together, Kamar. I like that. I like that. I like that.
That's what I do, man. You know, I connect the dots. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I do, man.
You know, hey, man.
Look, you got me on the show, folk, man. You got me on the show, folk, nigga. Deion said that's why I rock with you, because we can express ourselves without being censored. No doubt. That's the only way I would do it. Listen, I'm pretty sure, y'all, I'm pretty sure if I wanted to dance a certain dance or operate a certain way, I could, in terms of, you know, if I really, because I've always, you know, wanted to be on the radio since I was 8 years old, right? And I understand that if I Brian Gumbold myself, I could get there. But for me, it does me no good to do anything where I can't be me, right? I've tried it. It don't work. If I can't be Kev, it don't work. Over the years, I've been in programs, I've been at jobs where I'm like, you know what, I could get this money on it. And I try to do something that's non-Kev and it just don't work. So I'm resigned to the fact that either I'm gonna get it the way I do it or I won't have it. I'll have what I have, right? And so I learned to make the best out of whatever situation it's in. He said, white people are the only race of people we know hung us by the tree, but we forgive them and love them and still pursue them and still want to be down. Listen, and it's so crazy now that not only have all these things happened to us, they are basically telling us now, and you better not tell your goddamn kids. You better not teach that shit in school. And we like, but come on, man. We love you. Come on, man. And listen, I'm not saying we should hate at all, because I think hate, you know, I'm in my old age, I'm starting to understand just how powerful hate can be, and just how, you know, once hate is injected into anything, it becomes so fruitless. It becomes totally corrupted. But I'm saying, recognizing as people of color the importance of us, as Liberty Bell and Willie Dynamite say, collectivize, right? Willie, you got to have vision. Y'all got to go see Willie Dynamite, man. It's one of the greatest. To me, it blows the Mac away. Willie Dynamite has always been. Look, I got the giant poster right here.
That shit, it ended depressing for me. Like, I wanted to see Willie Dynamite because of all the gifts I used to see of him walking through the court with the hose behind him, or him coming down the stairs all cool sideways and shit.
Yeah.
And I finally watched the movie, man, and I don't know, I just didn't like how it ended. That shit ended with him on a down street.
Like, well, no, he ended with clarity. He left the whole thing. He went through all of that. He lost his mom. He lost his stable. He lost everything.
His mama, his hoes,
and like, even the car.
What's the happy ending about that, man?
Because he stops being a pimp. He stops being a pimp. He says, no, we don't know what he became later in life, but he walks away from that. Because dude has his car at the end and he say, not anymore. He says, this your car? He say, not anymore. And he leaves. He might have just been like, all that shit got me hot. I'm going under. And we needed Willie Dynamite too, but Roscoe Orman got the job on Sesame Street and we never got another movie. So,
right.
Somebody needs to do Willie Dynamite part 2.
I went from Willie Dynamite to Sesame Street.
Well, right. And people don't even know that Gordon off Sesame Street was Willie Dynamite. You got to watch the movie, man. Some people are like, what the hell are they talking about? You got to know, man. You got to know. If you know, you know. No, it's one of my favorite movies, man. And at first, real, I was on the same thing, like, oh man, but he went back and got revenge on the people that he needed to get it on. But once he
Yeah,
lost his mom, it changed him. And whatever his
yeah,
realization was is I'm gonna move differently from now on, which was,
yeah.
which was to me a good way to end the movie. Let me see. I know we got way off subject talking about Willie Dynamite. My bad. My movie. My movie. My movie, y'all. Let me see. Dion was talking about them getting in the mainstream. Paris, you're right. Stockholm syndrome to the fullest. People are in love with their kidnapper. I just, once again, though, I can't. One thing about black people is we are a loving people, though. See, and that's the sad part about the negative narrative that's written about us. Black people, for the most part, are the best people you want to be around. It ain't nothing like some good black folk, right? Some hardworking, dedicated, spiritually centered, focused, educated black people. They'll give you the shirt off their back. All they want to do is have a good time, put some meat on the grill, play some dominoes, some spades, drink some Crown Royal. Kamar said put some asparagus on the grill and drink some Vitality, right? Right. Roll up with a little something. We tell our stories and laugh and joke, dance a little bit. That's all we want to do. That's who we are naturally. So in that is we are forgiving people because we love everybody. Black people
Gotta
really
learn how to
most
forgive each other.
right. Most black people you meet don't want no trouble. Don't want no drama. You say, man, that ain't my business, dog. I mind my own business, man. I see them. I just keep them moving because they don't want no drama. But so that means we're sympathetic to things that we shouldn't be. And it's not about carrying a grudge of, oh, I hate white people for what they've done. It's about saying, no, I understand the importance of solidarity. I understand what the effect of them bringing us here and scattering us and dismantling us mentally, destroying our family structure, making sure that we are not informed about certain things, and then creating a system where we don't know anything about. I understand the crippling nature of that. So I'm going to invest in not going through that again. That don't mean I hate white people. That means I understand white people. See? And that's what we need to start telling them. I don't hate you. I just understand you. Because for the most part, I do understand white America. I understand how they feel. I understand in a lot of cases how the perceptions, the false narratives that they have in their head were created, right? When we talk about this being the only group of people that could realistically go to a part of America and say, we can live here for 50 years and never even come in contact with a nigger. We can establish our own power base over here, and this will be our town, and legally keep them from living here. We can't do that. Mexicans can't do it. No, Latinos can't do it. Asians can't do it. They're the only ones who can do it. So if you wield that kind of authority, I understand that. So I understand why they feel the way they do. They're misinformed, right? They're short-sighted a lot of times,
I just seen
preoccupied,
something
narcissistic. Go ahead, brother.
I seen something that said that Oregon was a state that like black folk just was able to move to. Like that was like that's why there was no black people on the video game Oregon Trail, because up until like 1980 or something, it was something recent
Yeah,
that
you
I
niggas
guess
better
in
not come get
Oregon
our gold.
laws, you wasn't black people couldn't live there.
It's
Hey,
like
you niggas
Utah.
better not come get our gold.
Just like Utah. A lot of people don't understand Mormons taught for years that black people had tails. Like they taught
And
that
that
we
they
were
were black because they sinned, or what was it? I think the angels who sided with God, those would they would come to earth with blonde hair and blue eyes, and the people who were born with darker skin were the ones who like didn't pick a side. So they were the angels who sided with God. They get blonde hair, blue eyes. And there's the demons who sided with the devil. But then the black folk are black because they didn't show allegiance to God. So, but because they didn't partner with the devil, they were still allowed to live. They just black folks. So
all
they
bullshit.
taught that for years. But now one of the most quick groups that's converting to Mormonism is like Samoans and Pacific Islanders.
Yeah.
Which is funny because it's like, dude, they taught y'all dark because y'all fucked up. But I
Well,
mean, on the flip side,
they
Christianity talk about the sons of Ham who were cursed.
so from my understanding, they took a lot of that rhetoric because even the university BYU You look at
Brigham Young.
Brigham Young's the leader of the Mormon Church. Look at some of his beliefs that he taught, and so they supposedly. But I mean, like I
He was
said,
a wild boy, man.
you can remove the racist ownership loopholes in property ownership in our suburbs. You can take that away, but the fact that that was the original intention and structure for it, so the intent is still there. So you took it technically out of the writing, but then that becomes the code. It don't got to be written anymore, and because White Wauwatosa got a code in some of their neighborhoods. We don't really want niggers over here. They have a code. So they're going to make moves and move in a certain way to keep us from being over there. And if we move in over there, they're going to let us know right away, you fucking up the code.
They call it a block watch.
We want your ass up out of here.
Block watch.
Yeah, right?
Like shit.
Right. I'm so tired of smelling ribs. God damn it. Ribs and marijuana. Fucking niggers that moved in. Smoking that loud, right?
Two delightful smells, man.
Right. Mama Jenkins said they piss on you and you swallow it. Ill, but it's true. It's true. Ernest Ewok says Denzel bent down and got that bag on training day and got shot in the ass on training day. But he won for that shit. They still give him $20 million a movie, though. It definitely doesn't work for everyone. You know, the funniest thing about Denzel was always a good guy and a morally upstanding character, and he was always snubbed. But when he played the bad guy in Training Day, they gave it to him. Just like Halle Berry was doing a great job representing black women, but she didn't get it until she let a redneck named Billy Bob bang her out. And Eric, what's his name? Eric, what's his name from here? What is his name? Eric Benet, who was her husband at the time, had to smile at the award ceremony. Hey, congratulations, baby. And next thing you know, they talking about he got a sex addiction and he was cheating on her. No shit. She just humiliated you in front of the world, and you had to smile with her and Billy Bob saying, man, y'all show. Come on, man. That movie was garbage. Nobody even cared about that movie except for Holly got dog walked by Billy Bob. Right? That was a win for white America. Kamar say we had to hold that L. We as black men, Kamar, we had to hold that L that time.
God damn it.
Now they said that I guess some issue. Well, I seen something today where it was showing Russell Wilson face or something because I guess Sierra was dressed in some shit.
Yeah, man.
They was they was trying to say that any other picture he was in, he looked happy, but they was like, you could see the embarrassment in this picture. Why would she do that to her husband? And I'm like, I don't know. The nigga just look like he's standing there. I don't know if it's embarrassment or shit.
I don't know. You know, Russell Wilson is a peculiar fellow. Because when he was even at Wisconsin, when he played quarterback at Wisconsin, he was a white folk type of black man. Like he had the conch in his hair, he like the pompadour, and he was just a weird looking dude. And he had a white girl. He was doing, what cats do. And he got to the NFL and he got with her and got with Sierra. And so like you hear some of his teammates talk about him being a very strange individual. So I don't know, he's the opposite of job, but at least he ain't doing the job though. Like, so can you say he's wrong? I say he's a weirdo, but he ain't the one up in the club with we saying, look at his face. But Ja got $350,000 in the strip club with a pistol.
Right.
Huh?
So at least Russ ain't destructive.
Right. Well, we saying Ja's a real nigga and Russ is a weirdo. Right?
They always be talking about
it depends with your classification of a real nigga is.
That's true. I mean, some real nigga shit to be up in the strip club throwing up 350. We make songs
real
about
it constantly. You're right. That's some real nigga shit.
Real nigga shit. Some real nigger shit, right?
Exactly.
They do it on P Valley. They got an Image Award. Right? Mama Jenkins said they piss on you and you enjoy being pissy. Mama, she on fire with the pissy metaphors tonight. Like, it
pisses her off that we be begging for the acceptance of abusers,
Yeah, man. Oregon passed the Exclusion Act in 1844 and another in 1849. Paris LaShawn is talking about Oregon, about what you were saying about Oregon. But okay, so what Mama Jenkins is talking about, my mother, I know I talk about my mother on this show a lot because that's why I was so happy about National Women's Empowerment Day, because I kept saying my mama was a woman. right? And so I got so much from the knee of my mother, just sitting there talking to her, and she had this thing about asking people for things and putting yourself in a position where you need something from someone. Like my mother was so adamant about you not putting yourself at the mercy of someone or begging that I literally couldn't even ask my brother for things. So like if my brother had a piece of candy and I would say, give me some, my mother would get pissed at me. What the fuck is you begging him for his shit for? Go and get your own, to the point where she go to her purse and give me some money and be like, walk your ass to the store and get you some candy.
Right,
And my
right.
father would be
Man.
like, well, they're brothers. He should share with him. And my mother would be like, fuck that. He's begging. You don't bow down to no man and kiss no man's ass. You go and get your own shit. And so that's how we were raised. And that was drilled in my head where I was like, you know what?
But that's dope, man, because you got to think
Yeah.
about the flip side of that. Like, there's so many, I mean, yeah, just women. There's so many women, and this is not a pop at them or whatever, but there's so many who confuse enabling their son with loving their son.
Yeah.
And if you really, really, and I understand it's a misunderstanding of what love is, but it fucks a lot of folk up. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's a child who grow up to be a dope ass male who still can't do nothing for himself, or you know somebody who just expect women to tend on him hand and foot because he was enabled by his mama. So the fact that your mama pushed that on you, when I see so many women that is just creating cupcakes, man. I mean, you know, I mean.
Usually that 30, 40-year-old nigga that's laying up under
Talk
a chick
shit.
on the couch playing the video game and shit. It's that nigga that was enabled by his mother.
Yeah, it's just even like I say, even now with my own wife, like I don't like to have to depend on her for now. There's been times when I needed her help, right? Like, and it's been times when she's offered me help and I've turned it down, knowing I didn't even really have a solution yet. And she said, what you mean, no? Like, what you mean, no? I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to give you it, or this is what we going to. I say, no, I'm going to figure this shit out myself. Because that was drilled in my head that, you know, a man, he has to stand on his own and do as much as he possibly can. Now, once again, when I came home from surgery last January, shout out to me, by the way. I have to give myself credit because this time last year, I know where I was and where I'm at right now. But I needed the help. So I didn't have at that point, but I still felt a certain kind of way. Like my motivation to get better is so I won't have to depend on somebody to help me. You know what I mean? Right. And so my wife would just get on me and be like, dude, just relax. Just lay back. You look, Kevin, nobody's tripping on you. And I'm like, no, I got to get up off this couch. I can't turn it. You know, it's just because I could hear my mama saying, get your ass up.
Right. Get your ass up off that couch. We got to find that balance. You know, I'm the same way as. And my mama was one of them loving mamas. You know what I'm saying? My daddy would have been like, that boy don't need a second plate. I'm a grown-ass man, and I ain't get a second plate. Well, just get it this time and don't ask for nothing else. You know, so...
You didn't get the big piece of chicken.
Right, you know, I appreciate the hell out of my mama. But, you know, so it just... It's that balance, man. So I had it. Even though I had, you know, a loving mama, I still got a loving mama. I think it was because I was the firstborn that I still took on that do for yourself, get out your parents' way so they could do for the rest of the children. Like I said, I had my first job at 16, had my first car at 16, moved out the house at 19, you know, and I'm like the only child that actually did that. All my other siblings down there stayed with my parents well into adulthood, and you know now they've transitioned, and that's dope. My parents was able to provide that atmosphere for them, but me, I always was like, nah, my parents got 4 other kids to worry about after me. I want to be the least of the burdens on them. So, you know, I guess you develop that mindset in 2 different ways, but it really is hard to let other people help you and take care of you when you've established that mindset.
Yeah, I don't, you know.
I feel like that's the mindset a man's supposed to have.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know what I mean? I think back, listening to my mother tell me, handle it. handle it. None of your business. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the problem was, handle it. You know what I mean? Pull yourself together, handle it. So I always felt like, you know what I mean, no matter what, I got to make sure it happened for me. I was the only child, so she was preparing me. Like, ain't nobody out here got shit for you. You know what I'm saying? That's borrowing shit is sucker shit. You know what I'm saying? Don't get into that. You know what I mean?
Man.
That's sucker shit. So, you know what I mean? I always remember that. So it always ingrained, so it always been ingrained in my head, like, nigga, you better do something. Get your ass up and do something.
Right.
Yeah,
and
man.
that be the crazy thing, because people be, you know, as the kind of person I am, I've had family who ain't got no kids, no bills, no nothing, think to ask me for bread, and I'm the sole provider of a household of 6. You know what I'm saying? It'd be like, damn. And at the time, I give it to them like, well, if I got it and they need it. But then I thought about it like, damn, these grown ass men with no responsibilities, and they're okay with taking resources from a nigga who holding it down for his whole entire household.
Right.
Well, if you could do it for them, you could do it for me. You got it. You get cast black people. We pioneered that. You got it. You be like, man, how you gonna ask me to borrow some money? You got it. You got it.
But when you try to give them some advice that'll position them to not need to borrow money, now you judging them and all that shit, man. So.
Well, hold on too. I want to clarify this, because we're saying this, and we say, you know, people, when something is wrong, it's okay. It's okay not to be okay. And I'm still advocating, if you got issues and you dealing with some and you actually need help, there's nothing wrong with that. But a lot of times, if you putting your best foot forward to try and prevent that, you can avoid it for the most part. And it's one of those things where if I do come to you and say, man, come on, I'm down bad, bro. I need. Then you know, man, I done knew this man forever, and he ain't never.
Right.
So this must mean he actually needs it, man.
Right.
So Kev, here you go, man. I got you.
You know, it's definitely levels to it. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely levels to
it. Right. Mama Jenkins said Russell got a trained hoe. He said, remember, Future said he trained her. Did Future train Sierra? You know, good guys always finish last, man. It's you know, did he train her? I don't know. She said Future said he did. Dion said, just think about how they didn't want us to integrate into their community, and people were out there with their pitchforks and torches. That wasn't that long ago. That's right. He said, now their image is this squeaky clean, and they're so wholesome and patriotic. That's all a front. He said, I hate them, Kev. Okay. I hear you, Dion. You know what? At this point in my life, I've tried to remove anything that's hate. Like, I can dislike something without hating it. I can disapprove of something without hating it. I can disagree with someone without hating them, right? What I've learned is hate, it makes you sick. Just to have it in your heart, right? And a lot of times you'll hear me get it off my chest if I do have a problem with somebody, so it won't fester. Like last week, I was frustrated with Milwaukee radio, and I said every radio station in Milwaukee can kiss my ass, and I meant it because I was angry about it, right? And for me to get it off meant that I ain't sitting on it. It's not festering. I'm not like, oh, it's driving me crazy. No, fuck them. It did. I felt so rejuvenated after I got a chance to say that. Like, sometimes you just got to get it off your chest. You got to say, man, kiss my ass. And, you know, if you ass whooping is what you're going to get from it, be willing to take that ass whooping or fight back. It's fight or flight. Let me see. He said, True Rail, they had it in their constitution. He's talking about, they're talking about Oregon being so anti-black. It ain't no coincidence. There ain't a lot of people in the Northwest, black people in the Northwest, Oregon, Utah, all up in there, you know, Portland, you know, that, like, you know, there's Salt Lake City. Those are white. Come on, man. Montana. I've been up in the Northwestern, in North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana, Nebraska. It ain't real black friendly up there. It ain't real black friendly. I'm telling you, man.
It's cold. Shit.
Yeah, cold in the polar bear's toenail. Juice Lady, I see you back with us.
I'm back. On bedtime stories, and then I went and I started painting and shit. You know, my mind, I get thrown off, and I'm like, oh yeah. Then I hopped on my computer to do some work, and I'm like, these niggas still podcasting. So I'm like, shit, hop back on in.
Yeah, welcome back to the end, right? Like, it's, Mama Jenkins said, it's hard to carry that burden of hate. Yeah, yeah. Idaho as well. No, listen. It's try if you can try, right? Try to understand things, because a lot of times if you understand something, you can't hate it, right? It's if you understand how they operate, there's no need for me to hate them. That's fruitless. It doesn't provide any fuel for me. It doesn't give me any motivation. Like, I understand them. What I try to gain is a greater understanding of them as I move forward to say, oh, that's how they did that. Oh, that's why that's like that. Okay, that's gonna dictate how I move, as opposed to, oh, I hate these motherfuckers. You see a little
Right.
kid
And in
catch
the
a temper tantrum and
meanwhile,
got his fist balled up, like, okay, when
yeah,
you done, when you done, we can go, we can get back to what we
right.
need to
And
do.
in the meanwhile, you use that excellent discernment, you know what I mean, to figure out which ones you do rock with.
There you go. Yep. So when I
You
walk
know?
into a room and one of them's being condescending to me, I understand it. When one of them's being sarcastic, I understand it. When one of
Mm-hmm.
them don't really care for my presence, I see it and I understand it. It keeps me from even extending myself and
And,
being vulnerable to them.
and then
Because I
you
can say,
also, my bad, but you also learn where to put your boundaries at with them.
mm-hmm,
So it can't upset you. So they can't do nothing that's finna offend you. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right. You know, it's truly an example of, if we knew better, we would do better, right? And I keep saying, in our community, one of the biggest things that's killing us right now is misinformation. And the first step to getting where we need to be as a community is being better informed about everything. Because once you're informed about something, it kind of shapes your perspective. When you inform, you tend to make more informed decisions. You vote better, you move better, you live better, you eat better, you breathe better, right? You can comprehend. Um, uh, Mama Jenkins said, my brother went to State School of Science in Wahpeton, North Dakota, and it was cold as hell there, and there was not no blacks up there when he went there. I graduated from the North Dakota State College of Science in Wahpeton, North Dakota. I have a associate's degree from Wahpeton. I know all about Wahpeton, North Dakota, Mama Jenkins, and and Fargo and Sioux Falls and Aberdeen. I tell people all the time, Earth is my turf. And you're right. You talking about cold on a whole different level. You ain't never seen a 20-foot snowdrift. Forever hold your peace. That's nothing in North Dakota. So I was up there a year and a half. Look, I hated North Dakota so much. A full-time college student is 12 credits. I took 25 credits my last semester to graduate early. Got every last one of them motherfuckers and was up.
I
Like,
got a
thank
homeboy
you.
that's taking over in Fargo right now. He's motherfucking taking over the city. You know what I'm saying? The Milwaukee nigga that was in prison, that was a high boy. Now he up there. Oh, he didn't had a baby with an African chick. He didn't open up a store or two. He got a lounge or something. He didn't set that shit off up there. He that nigga.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's oil. It's oil in North Dakota now. So it's different than when I was there. I was there in the mid 90s. It wasn't
Yeah,
no
they
oil.
get money up there working
Yeah.
on them
Wasn't
oil
no oil.
rigs, man.
But Sioux Falls, like we used to go to Sioux Falls all the time, and we used to go to Fargo, and there was some, it was hey, I'm trying to tell you. Mama Jenkins said my brother James Jenkins was the first black basketball player there. You know what, Mama Jenkins? I remember seeing your brother's picture when I was up there. So because they had all their pictures, like he's like was an incredible basketball player. Now, did I know that was your brother? No, absolutely not. But yes, I remember seeing his picture, and they had all his accomplishments up there. So, oh my goodness, the Earth is a small place, man. Chase said we got an artist named K-Tone who has a song called "The Earth Is My Turf." He took my shit.
Get him
He
here.
took my shit.
Exactly right.
Right. Tell them I'm coming for all my royalties. Right. Listen, man, it is 10:13. The juice lady said, God damn, can y'all sign off? You're doing too much. I just have a great time when I do this, man, and I enjoy sitting back and really chopping it up with my brothers and my sister and the people who support us, man. A lot of people still rocking with the show, saying, no, Kev, I got something else to say. We'll have to talk about it Wednesday, because that's when we'll be back. St. Patrick's Day is coming up. I want to see how many of you Negroes jump down, right? Some of you motherfuckers who had a problem with me celebrating Black History, I better not see you with a green beer. I'm gonna slap that shit out your hand. and keep it pushing, right? Get an understanding of what the purpose of St. Patrick's Day was and find out that the original Irishmen, some people say, were pygmies from Africa, and St. Patrick was the one who took charge of running them off the continent. You got to be aware. You can't be no square, man. It's all about what you put in your head.
There's no snakes in Ireland.
The river?
Say that again.
I said, y'all mad at me for going to see the Green River? I mean, y'all know I fuck with the shit, but I wanted to see, you know what I'm saying? Just
I ain't never mad at nobody for whatever they do. Courtney, you've been all over the earth though, so you
are out, man. But I don't fuck
right.
with it.
Yeah, you a traveler, so I can never be mad at anybody's trips or journeys of discovery. I'm just saying, I see a lot of people that preach, but they don't practice, right? And we know what you say about that. So I want everybody, man, to have a great night. Keep your head on a swivel. We'll be back Wednesday, man, to chop it up again. I want to talk about our dedication and our real definitive culture on Wednesday night, and who we actually are, and what is the legacy my generation is going to leave on Black America, and where's Black America going? That's going to be something that we're going to talk about on Wednesday, man. So I want everybody to know, man. Oh, and Sean Kemp, by the way, who they had put out here, who had gotten arrested for a drive-by in Washington, it was found out he was let go, not charged. Somebody stole his phone. He tracked him down. They shot at him. He shot back. So Sean Kemp did not do a drive-by. Great Seattle. I wanted to put that out there. Why? Because clarity is everything, man. I keep talking about misinformation being one of the most detrimental things in our community, and it's absolutely true. Kamar just talked about them even implementing a policy now where you got to pay to park on the weekend downtown. A lot of us didn't know that. We're going to go downtown next weekend to party and come out of the club. The tickets on our cars.
And they extending it till 9 p.m. during the week too. You know, it's till 7 right now. What, 5?
Right.
7? So they pushing that shit till 9 and adding the weekends till 9.
Got to read in between the lines, Black people. You got to be aware you can't be no square, man. So I always tell people, man, get out here, man, and try to improve something. Get out here and try to be good at something. Strive to do something positive. Because if not, you just existing. And that's a sucky ass way to live, man. There's nothing wrong with helping people. There's nothing wrong with trying to service. Do something in your community. And people say, well, I ain't going to do shit because I done enough. Well, you ain't never done enough, right? It's until the day you lay down and take your last breath. It ain't even over then, because people are going to look at your legacy and try to pick something from it. So even after you long gone, people are going to still be looking to you for an example of what to not do or what to do. So that means your commitment to being a good person and being somebody who impacted people's lives in a positive way is never ending. Because you know, sooner or later, you're going to walk into a room where it's a bunch of people talking shit. And when you try to figure out what they're talking about, you're going to realize that at that point, their criticism outweighs their contribution to the community, and you will instantaneously know that they are coons. And they need to listen to the show on Wednesday night, man. Peace and love, man. I'll see y'all then. Happy birthday, Tuesday.